around the world, which is very exciting. And we are live on the air every Wednesday at 3 p.m., 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Today, we have a couple of guests that are due to call in, and they both will have some interesting things for us. And we may get a report about one of our little patients at our medical center. His name is Baby John. He is, I think, 4 months, 4.5 months old in that area. And he was born with a problem, and we have prayed to God for guidance, and we're using our scientific capabilities, and we're pretty confident that he can be helped by going into the hyperbaric chamber on a regular basis for a while, and we're going to give you updates and reports on his progress. So hopefully Mark, who is the technician that's treating in the chamber, will be on the air sometime before 4 o'clock to give us a report of how Baby John is doing. Today, I wanted to remind you of your responsibility to take care of the precious gift, the most precious gift, physical precious gift that we have, and that is our human body. This mechanism is so much to behold and comprehend and to be grateful for. So much. We are responsible for it. We're responsible for taking care of it. And I have my own little theory that most of us are more responsible with our automobiles than we are with our precious body. And our automobiles can all be replaced. They can be repaired much more easily than the human body can. The human body is made to take really good care of it, but it needs our cooperation. It needs proper fueling. You know, I don't think any one of you would pee in the gas tank of your car. I don't think you'd pour a bottle of scotch in the gas tank of your car. I don't think you would allow smoke instead of fresh air with oxygen in it that will burn and make energy. I don't think you want to let smoke go into your engine because, number one, you may harm your engine eventually if you could get the smoke to remain in the engine. But more importantly, it will not convert to energy, and you will not be able to use the car very much longer. So I want to really remind us that we're responsible for the most incredible mechanism. This mechanism, called the human body, starts so small that it is immeasurable. One cell, one small cell, and we are the result. And our Creator has made it possible for two of us, hopefully acting in real love and commitment to bring about the life of a beautiful new human being. That is a great gift. It's a great responsibility that we all have. And I'm afraid we take it lightly. I'm afraid we take the gift of life lightly, and that we do not really comprehend how responsible we need to be to nurture this body, to take care of it, to feed and empower the brain that operates it, and the brain that is in fact responsible for everything that mankind has ever done. Everything that man has invented, every idea that any human person has had begins in the human mind. And you have that gift. And it is a gift. And I really believe that we do not value gifts very much. We value things that cost money. But if it comes to us free, we seem not to have much value in it. And that's a very sad thing. I would suggest that we all examine our consciences and see how much importance we're giving in having responsibility for the wonder of our body. For we have the capacity to make this body last a long, long time, a lot longer than our average lifespan. We create these scenarios where we allow disease to take over and allow malfunction of the human body to take over. We don't fuel it very well. We abuse it constantly. We abuse it with our psychological input, with our emotional input, and with the physiological care that we give our body, and the fueling process, which is part of that physiology. The fueling process is so important. As I previously mentioned, none of you would pee in the gas tank of your car. None of you would put poison in the gas tank of your car. You want to put gasoline that's going to burn properly so you can get where you're wanting to get, which is extremely important. So I just want to remind you, you have a great gift. Use that great gift to get the most out of your life and to be able to give the best of your life to God's world, to your friends and family, and to all the people that you encounter on your journey through this life. This life is a very short one. Those of you who are 50s, 60s, look back. Look back for a moment. See how short it is. Those of you who are manifesting signs of aging, look at yourself in the mirror. Look at your hair. Look at the graying capabilities of your hair, the progression that it makes as you grow older. Look at your skin. Look at the changes in your body, and know that these changes are going about because your body is losing its capability to function, and eventually it will lose that capability and it will not function anymore. And then just believe the spirit and the body separate. And the spirit goes on because it's non-corporeal. It doesn't decay. It doesn't participate in all the things that the stuff and things of the world, the material things, the physical things are a part of. We are animated by spirit. But we're like a car. A car is animated basically by us, the driver, the facilitator of the information and the machinations to make the car run. But the car produces its energy by what we feed it, just like we produce our energy by what we feed our body, and our psychological, spiritual, and intellectual energy by what we feed our mind and our spirit. And we are responsible for all the results as we are responsible for the input that we give ourselves. I want us to raise our heights, raise our sights, and raise our capabilities and desires in terms of what we want out of our life, and give the very best so we can get the very best. You know, you don't take a recipe and look at the recipe and figure out the cheapest things you can get, the oldest things you can get. Who cares if you put an egg in there that's a month old? Who cares if you put some milk that's been sitting out on the counter for 3 days? You know, you use all that kinds of stuff that hasn't been cared for properly and nurtured and treated in a way that it will last and be fresh, and you're going to get a mess. You're probably going to end up with something that's poisonous and is going to make you sick. And that's what most of us do in our lives. I remind us that we can be the best, we can be healthy, we can be strong, we can be virile or feminine, we can be whatever it is that we nurture ourselves to be, but we have to pay the price of nurturing ourselves, of giving ourselves the best. And that's the responsibility that we have. And I would like to invite our producer, Brandon, to feel free to intercept us at any time, Brandon, when we have a caller or when we have a guest or anyone call in. No need to wait for me to acknowledge them. Just simply announce them so that we can give them the time and energy that they most certainly deserve. And anytime you want to intercept and contribute to our show, we would love to have you. You are young and intelligent and bright, and you have a great mind, and we could all learn from you too, so don't forget that, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Amen. 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 And now, Brandon, I think we're going to take a break because we have to. That's what radio stations do, you know. We take breaks. So we'll be back in just a few minutes.
What is hyperbaric oxygen therapy? You hear Dr. Jolly talk about it, but what exactly is hyperbaric oxygen therapy? Well, hyperbaric oxygen therapy is rejuvenating. It's painless. It's a therapy in which oxygen is administered in a pressurized environment. It affects the body on a cellular level. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy provides your body with the means to heal itself naturally without drugs. Find out more at hyperbaricoxygeninstitute.com. That's hyperbaricoxygeninstitute.com. Oxygen is the breath of life. Find out how to get your life back. Call 949-328-4268. 949-328-4268. Be sure to mention KCAA when you called 949-328-4268. The Hyperbaric Oxygen Institute.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Behind on your payments or barely making minimums? Do your massive interest payments have you running like mad in circles? How long can you keep it up? Stop running. Let the Thomas & Law Group carefully plan your escape. The Thomas & Law Group has proven itself for over 18 solid years, helping thousands of people like you and me reclaim our financial future. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and offices in all 50 states. And the best part? There are no upfront fees at all. You won't pay a dime until the job's done. No upfront costs, no monthly fees, no banking fees. No other law firm does that. I'm a paid spokesperson, not a lawyer, and every case is different. But really, if you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, call the Thomas & Law Group right away for a free, no-obligation consult with a trained legal analyst at 800-460-9790. Call now because you're tired of running in circles. 800-460-9790. 800-460-9790.
KCAA Radio is proud to announce that the Tri-City Center in Redlands is our new home. We're fortunate to be located among some of the best businesses in the region. Among our neighbors are Ray Chiropractic, Brace Connection Orthodontist, Pain Solutions Medical Massage, Rent-A-Center, MVP Staffing Agency, Jenny Craig, Salon Centric, and many more. The Tri-City Shopping Center is located just off the I-10 between Alabama and the Tennessee exits in Redlands. The Tri-City Center is the mall with the heart.
Welcome back. Welcome back to KCAA Radio 1050 on your AM radio dial. 106.5 on your FM dial and 102.3 on your FM dial. So take your choice how you want to hear us or podcast. And a good thing to do is to listen to Brandon, because Brandon can tell us a couple of things. Number one is he can tell us all how we can listen to the podcast when it's live. And another thing you can tell us, Brandon, is how anybody can listen to the podcast in the future if they want to rehear the show.
All right, so live, you would go to kcaaradio.com and click Listen Live, or we have a live video stream. If you want to listen to past shows, you would go to Schedule, go to Wednesday, and go to What's It All About, and then click on Podcasts, and there is every show that you've ever done there.
Every show that I have ever done here?
At least every show you've ever done here.
Wow, that's crazy. And how long will those shows be available?
As long as the website's up.
As long as the website's up. That's a great answer. I like that. Brandon, thank you very much. We may call on you later for more instructions on how to live our radio life.
No problem.
Thank you. You're very cooperative and very helpful, and we appreciate you very much. I want to give everybody our local call-in number. If anyone ever wants to call the show, they are more than welcome to do so. The number is 1-888, that's toll-free, 1-888-909-1050. And again, in a different way, it is 1-888-909-1050. 909-1050. 909 stands for our area code in San Bernardino, and 1050 are the call letters, the AM call letters for the radio station. So it's real easy to remember that number. 1-888, which signifies toll-free, 909-1050. You are more than welcome to call in to talk about anything you want to talk about what we're talking about on the show, to also talk about anything we've ever talked about on any show. So if you'd like to do that, please take advantage of these opportunities and do it. I do have a very interesting question that came through on our back line, and it looks like maybe possibility that Brandon is on the phone with someone who needs to talk to us, but he says no, so that's good. So we don't have to worry about being interrupted yet. But we probably interrupted, and that's fine. But at any rate, let me go on to something else. We had a question from a listener about a condition, a physiological condition that I felt was important to address on the radio. And that physiological condition is called peripheral neuropathy. Peripheral neuropathy can be explained in many ways. I'll make it very simple. It is a problem with the nerves in the peripheries of the body, like the feet and the hands and some places in the arms and lower legs and things like that. And neuropathy is when the nerves develop some kind of problem and the sensations are not working properly, and there are symptoms that make you feel like perhaps there's snakes or little worms crawling on you. Perhaps there are sensations that feel kind of like minor little electrical circuitry shocks. Sometimes patients will describe these things as being kind of like feeling dead. The cells feel dead. They don't feel like they're under control. I've never had that feeling myself, so I can't really describe it any other way than it's been described to me. However, the real question was, what can be done about peripheral neuropathy? Well, first thing that can be done is I recommend that you speak to a knowledgeable nutritionist who can help guide you, your physician as well. Your physician will probably offer some type of medication that may help, and it may not help. And if it does help, that's great. And if it doesn't help, then you want to be sure that you have other things that you can do. Now, when I was working with Dr. Julian Whitaker at the Whitaker Wellness Institute, which was the largest, what you might call alternative medical clinic in the entire United States, and it was both a live-in clinic where you could go and reside there and have certain problems solved over a period of weeks or months, or you could go there as a regular day patient as well. But one of the things that we did there for peripheral neuropathy, number one is diet. And diet has to be very strict. Diet is when you control what you put in your mouth. You control the fueling process of the body. You allow to go into the body what works instead of what tastes good. Because you see, what tastes good sometimes doesn't work. And we are so addicted to our taste buds that we usually go with what tastes good instead of what is good. So I want to remind you that that is not a good habit, because it generally over a period of time will create problems, malfunction with certain parts of the body. And when you have peripheral neuropathy and you have nerve cells that are sleeping, that are in comas, or that are dying, you're in trouble. You can be in real trouble. There are amputations that have to be made once in a while because of this problem. So I want to share with you that diet is extremely important. Talk to your physician, talk to a nutritionist, go to some publications, and there are many, alternative ways of dealing with things. And I don't think we should go off half-cocked and say, well, I'm going to try alternative, I'm going to do, and give all your faith to that. You know, it's good to do the best of both worlds. The best of both worlds. And what works, you do. What doesn't work, you don't do. So for neuropathy, diet is number one. Exercise can be helpful, proper type of exercise. And also supplements. Some supplements can begin to awaken nerve endings. That can be very helpful. But there are medical therapies. There are light therapies. There are sound therapies. There's hyperbaric oxygen therapy that causes something magic called angiogenesis. And angiogenesis is the manufacturing by your body of small blood vessels that send blood surging to various areas of your body that may be suffering from this neuropathy and bring the cells, I'm putting it very, very simply, back to life. Back to life. And what a joy it is when you're able to relieve the symptoms of peripheral neuropathy. And hyperbaric oxygen therapy can do that because it does grow new blood vessels in the body really very effectively. That's why we can heal many things very quickly. We can generally tell an athlete that's told by their physician because of an injury, athletic game injury, that they have to be on the bench for, say, 6 weeks. And being on the bench for an athlete not only keeps them still for those 6 weeks, but it costs them a lot of money. And they are very interested in getting back in the game and off the bench in much less time. And I have had the privilege of being able to tell hundreds of athletes over the last 35-year period that we can probably have them back in the game in half the time that the physician says they need to be on the bench. How do we do that? We put them in the hyperbaric chamber every day except weekends. And if they want to go on the weekend, they can do it. If they want to take the weekend off, that's fine too. Put them in the hyperbaric chamber for about an hour and 10 to 15 minutes under pressure of approximately 2 atmospheres of pressure. And we can cause the healing process to manifest itself much more quickly. Much more quickly. And we can generally have them back in about half the time in the game. That means making money. And they make more money than we do. So they're very interested in making money and getting back in the game. Also, there are light therapies that manifest by helping to create a higher level of development of blood cells and of the flow of the cells and the actual creation of the blood vessels to cause healing to occur with the neuropathy. So that's a good thing as well. There are other therapies. There's something called BEMER, B-E-M-E-R. I think all of you should go to the internet and look up BEMER, B-E-M-E-R. It has a very interesting effect on healing process for neuropathy as well as other things. Pain relief, it's a great setup. Any of you who want to do hyperbaric oxygen therapy should really study the BEMER and determine if you want to prep yourself for a more effective hyperbaric treatment by doing an 8 to 20 minute BEMER session before you get into the hyperbaric chamber. So those things will help. There's another incredibly interesting and quite effective treatment for neuropathy. It's called anodyne therapy. Anodyne therapy is a light therapy. It's a light therapy. Some call it a red light therapy. And it produces a great influence on the body in order to increase blood flow. And that is what acts as a healing agent for peripheral neuropathy. So those things can help dramatically. And there are lots of other things. Lots of other things. And I would invite any listeners who've had neuropathy, who've done something to help yourself that's worked, to call and share once in a while with us the things that you've done and the things that may help you. We have, of course, a large medical center that we work in, the Center for New Medicine in Irvine, California, and we do all kinds of things, and these things are supervised, of course, by medical doctors. And you know, medical doctors, MDs, Doctor of Medicine, and DOs, doctors of osteopathy, they enjoy the same privileges, the same licensing privileges. They're both medical physicians. And they, if they have an open mind and they're willing to explore various new things that are coming out that are backed by research, of course, there are so many exciting things that can be done. And I just want to let you know that a lot of our medical care has to be from our own interests and ability to convince our physicians to do a little bit of research, to do some reading, to look at now what's on the computer. We don't have to go very far. You don't have to go to the library. In the case of medical issues, you have to go to the medical school library and look up the research and spend hours and hours and go through tens of thousands of pages, which you'd have to do. You can sit at your computer and you can go through it and you can read it and you can get the synopsis of it, and it's absolutely incredible. We are very lucky now. The world comes to our house. The world. You don't have to go to the world anymore to learn much at all. You bring it all to you. In fact, on your telephone, you can talk to your phone. Talk to your phone. I heard my friend the other day say, I think they called her Siri. Siri, is that the right name, Brandon? You would know. Siri, yeah. That's the right name?
Yeah, if you're on an iPhone, it's Siri, and if you're not, it's Google.
Google. So what do you do when you want to have your computer find something for you? You just talk to it?
Well, if it's your phone, yes. If it's your computer, you type it into the search box.
Well, I heard this friend of mine say, Siri, I'm hungry. And all of a sudden this voice comes from nowhere in the car, and it says, there are 23 restaurants within 1/4 mile of our location. Would you like me to name them? And I'm freaking out. I never heard that before. But apparently it's quite common, right?
Yeah, so that means that he had an iPhone, and all you have to do is say the name of the assistant and what you want.
We live in magic world. This is a magic world. I want to remind you, you have the right and the privilege, and I think a bit of an obligation to share with all of our listeners anything you want to share. So if you want to advance our consciousness of technology or our consciousness of how to be healthier, I want you to call 1-888-909-1050. That's 1-888-909-1050, and share with us what's in your mind so that you can propagate, hopefully, the truth and some of what works. And I don't know if we have any callers on the line, do we?
We have Mark Westaway.
Mark Westaway. Mark Westaway is giving the treatments to the baby John that I told you about. And Mark, please welcome to our show, What's It All About?
Thank you, Doc.
I am very interested in you telling us a little bit about baby John. I mentioned baby John and baby John's situation. Could you please re-emphasize what has happened to him and what you're doing to help him, please?
Baby John had meningitis and the effects, leaving a brain damage to now the newest diagnosis is cerebral palsy.
Now, tell me about this this problem in the beginning. What happened? Why did he get this problem?
It's an infection, and it can be spinal or brain fluid. That a bacterial infection that is usually taken care of with antibiotics. Years ago, up until the 40s, 50s, outbreaks of spinal meningitis were usually fatal. The problem in John's case is being an infant, the damage from fever, high fever, things like that, really leading to a lack of oxygen to the brain because of the inflammation. We see the same effect as any cerebral palsy, which is basically an insult to the brain because of a lack of oxygen. Can be caused from several things. In John's case, it was the extreme inflammation or swelling on the brain from the meningitis.
Well, now this little baby John, did this all happen during the birthing process or after? How did it come about?
Yeah, and during birth and shortly after, just very shortly after. He's only 4 months old now. Now we've just begun treatments. He's only been in the chamber for about 3 treatments, plus the first one we did was just to check out how he would do, and we added pressure to the chamber extremely slowly, keep an eye on him. He's very compliant. He's really easy to treat. Yesterday in the chamber was the first time that I saw him just smiling, laughing. Now this is from my observations. He was much more active and extremely happy, laughing the whole time he was in there. Whenever the mother would look in the window, he just was having a ball.
Now you're putting a little infant baby into this wild-looking medical device called the hyperbaric chamber, and how do you do that? How do you put a baby in there? This is a 4-month-old baby.
Yeah, in this case, we have the grandmother is going in the chamber with him, and he's sitting on her lap. So it's, and for the grandmother, it's very simple. It's just babysitting. Just happens to be in the chamber. She sits him on her lap, and he's facing away from her out the window. And there's a TV screen there. The grandmother watches a movie. She's just so good with him. He's one of the best patients I've ever had. He's very easy to treat. And we see that with a lot of the infants that, they don't try to hold their breath. They're not claustrophobic. They're not afraid. Like a lot of the adults, they don't have the preconceived fears. So they'll let their ears equalize on their own. They'll feel that need to yawn or swallow, and they'll just do it. And they'll equalize their ears. Adults, we tend to tense up, we won't let our ears equalize as we add the pressure. But the infants are usually fairly simple to treat. Now we have the other one, the other baby we have is Tegan, who is, I believe 12 weeks now, 13 weeks. And she has had almost 80 treatments. She's had over 70.
My goodness, what's wrong with her?
She was born in a home delivery, and she didn't breathe at birth, and they didn't have the emergency medical equipment. So it's very similar. They have not diagnosed cerebral palsy yet, but without breathing for that length of time, it's an anoxic or low oxygen brain injury that the actual diagnosis the physician wrote up was hypoxic ischemia encephalopathy, which is the low oxygen and an ischemic sense with the blood flow and lack of oxygen in the brain. Encephalopathy is like a deterioration. So we've seen her, though. She's doing extremely well. But remember, they came in when that baby was 5 weeks old, is when we started her. And she's trying to crawl, sit up. She's very active. She's still, the condition's known as HIE, the hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy. HIE babies are known to sleep quite a bit, which she did in the beginning, but she's starting to be much more awake, and just this last week and a half, much more active and interactive. with everything around her. She does make eye contact, um, very good eye contact, and she's putting on weight.
Well, that's so exciting. I want to come and visit both of them.
Anytime they're in almost every day, one or both of them, and they're just they're a pleasure to have in. That they have a great family support system, and the families are in. It's very exciting.
I would like to ask every person of faith who is listening to this show today to put some prayer energy for these two beautiful children. And baby John, I know his name, and the little girl's name is what?
Tegan?
Tegan, okay. For Tegan and baby John, please send them prayer energy and ask the Lord to inspire us as we continue to treat them and work with their doctors to develop the treatment protocols and for healing, that they may be prime examples of healing. And this healing is done by a very magnificent element called oxygen. And oxygen is the only thing on earth that has these two characteristics. Number one, God, our creator, created it. Number two, the FDA has approved it as a usable drug. And that is incredible. I just wanted everybody to know that it's the only drug God initiated and FDA grabbed and took control of. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely amazing. Well, Mark, thank you so much for your report, and I'm asking people, please send some prayer energy their way, Tegan.
Please
And
do. We covet those prayers.
good. Amen. Amen. And take care and have a wonderful day. Mark, thank you for calling very much. And we go on with our show now. And will you call back next week and give us a report?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. We look forward to it. Thank you again. And Brandon, do we have any other calls we need to tend to?
Yeah.
John Robbins is on the line, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, John Robbins, welcome to What's It All About. You are also medically related and a great expert in nutrition and in the sciences, and we respect you very much, and we would like you to continue on with some of the things that you've talked with before. We've talked about the incidence of something that is not a very good thing called autism. And I have been working with autistic patients for over 30 years. And when I started, we had about 1 in 25,000 children that were eventually diagnosed with autism syndrome. And now you are quoting the new figures, which almost caused me to lose consciousness. So when I started, we had 1 diagnosed out of 25,000 children. How many now are diagnosed with autistic syndrome out of whatever? How many?
Well, first, Dr. Jolly Gabriel, let me tell you I'm so happy that you have invited me to talk. It's a rarity that mainstream news will even talk about this subject. But to answer your question, about 1 in 65 now are being diagnosed with autism every year. And that figure, I believe, comes out around 2011. So it more than likely is worse now in 2017. But when you consider that 3 out of 4 children that get autism are boys, that means that 1 out of 40 boys are now getting autism. And this is shocking. This is the most incredible epidemic that I've seen in a long time. And I remember, as you mentioned, autism was rarely something that was discussed in the past. As a matter of fact, the first case of autism was discovered in 1934. and that was such a rarity at that time that nobody really understood at all what it was or what was happening. So from that time till now, we are in an epidemic mode. Stephanie Seneff at MIT, you can look her up on the internet. She's very famous now. Has predicted that by the year 2025, we may have as many as 1 out of every 2 children born with autism. Now, autism is on a spectrum of neurological and neurodegenerative diseases. And so there's a lot of debate going on as to the cause.
Well, I have to say something here. I see it every day. We have patients for many years, every day, with that are part of the autistic problem, and I am absolutely amazed at their inability to function. And I have seen kids before they were diagnosed acting very normally, and after certain medical issues are done to them and shots and whatever they do to them these days, I have one particular case that, and of course, I have many cases, but this one particular case is twin girls, born normally, converted after they received certain shots and things, converted, and they are both incapable of functioning. They babble. They're not able to intellectualize anything. They cannot converse at all, period, nothing. They wander around shrieking and screaming. They can't walk with a good balance. They require help to do everything they do, and I mean everything, including going to the toilet, taking showers, and eating. Now, if this is typical, and it is typical of the people I see, we are headed for the destruction of our country.
Yes, and we've identified, I'm doing a lot of research on this subject, and what I've identified is there are about 4 things that come into play with this. And when you look at the numbers and you compare the statistics, etc., in 1989, the medical industry started vaccinating more and more children, and the number of vaccines has increased. And if you look at the autism rates, and you compare when the vaccines came into being and how all this happened, there's a real parallel here. And so that's been of an interest to me, is to look at the vaccine problem and try to figure out if that's a part of all this. And what I've discovered is that there are several aspects to the problem, and the major aspect is that the medical industry has refused to debate this issue now, and there's real science behind the problem, and the medical industry seems to be they don't want to do the research. As a matter of fact, if you look at the vaccine safety studies, there's only been one study with one vaccine, and it was done on 2 rabbits. And that's pretty much the science. And when you look at things like the CDC, let me give you something I've been thinking about. I call it the circle of death. Now that's my own phrase I've come up with. When you go to medical school as a medical student, you go there expecting to be trained in about all the aspects of various medical procedures and things. When it comes to vaccines, what they tell you in medical school is vaccines are safe and they're effective, and you should follow the CDC schedules. That's what you're told in medical school. That's pretty much all the training you get as a doctor to be. When you get your license, you go out and practice, you look at the CDC schedule and you pretty much follow that. And as you were told, vaccines are safe and effective. Now, if you read the inserts that these doctors get, which most doctors really don't really get involved too much in that and read it. But it talks about some of the problems and things like seizures and, well, some of the problems that are happening now with vaccines. Some of it explains this, but the real science, the real data is not being disclosed. It's not being talked about. And so...
Okay, can I interrupt you for a minute? Okay,
Sure.
I know that this is a fact, and I am dealing with a lot of parents who've gone through this. In fact, one doctor who is quite well known followed all the rules, gave his own son his first inoculation. His own son was very normal, doing well, converted to the autistic spectrum after his own father gave him the shot according to the medical rules and regulations. Can you imagine what that did to Dad? To this,
can I ask you what his age was when that happened?
Well, he was an infant. Apparently, there's some kind of rule or recommendation or whatever they call it that you give them. Sometimes they call for injection the same day for some of these things, and but it was in infancy, very soon after birth, and all of a sudden now the dad is father of an autistic child and a physician. And can you imagine how he felt? Well, anyway, I see this kind of thing happening. I see it. There's not a week go by that I don't see 4 to 5 cases like this. And I just want to say this last thing. If we don't do something to curb this problem, the development of the problem, we are going to be in such financial condition that it would be actually the perfect war against our country, would be to create a situation where a great percentage of our population is non-functional, non-productive, and depends on the rest of the population for total care and support. That is not a tragedy, it's worse than a tragedy.
Well, when you look at the economics of this issue, it's been told to me that the average cost for taking care of an autistic child from the time that they're diagnosed as an infant through their their lifetime expectancy is $5 million. Now that's a lot of money, and it's a lot of effort. And part of that discussion is the fact that a parent has to be with that autistic child 24 hours a day, a lot of times.
Or you can't leave them alone. You can't leave them alone. You cannot leave them alone. It's not possible. They cannot function alone unless they're very highly functional, which I have not seen much of.
Well, and the sad part, really, I through researching, I've been told that the average life expectancy of an autistic child is 49 years old. Now, if you think about that, the average life expectancy for a average male adult in America is 72 years old. So you take 72 minus the 49, and that gives you the amount of life that has been stolen away from that child for getting this autistic problem. Now, last time I was on the radio, I talked about mercury and aluminum, and explained how I believe SIDS happens, and how this aluminum is as bad as the mercury problem. What I've done is a little more research on the disease that I mentioned, called macrophagic myofasciitis, which is
John, I know where you're going with this, and I want you to go with it, but I think we only have a couple more minutes. We have to be ready to go off the air in about 3 minutes. So this is what I would like to suggest. I would like to suggest that you come back on next week toward the end of the show, just like we did today, so that we're not usurping our normally scheduled guests, and take the next part of this. If you would do that, I think it would be very helpful. And I want people to really listen and understand what's going on and take an interest in it. This is your problem. It is all of our problems. And if we are apathetic about it, like we are most of the things in our life, and we are apathetic about our own lives as well, we are acting stupidly and we are being self-destructive. We need to wake up and take responsibility for our own lives, for what's going on in our world, for our environment, and not just lay back and let things happen. So that's my speech for you all. And I want to really admonish myself for not being such a wild person about these problems in the past, because I'm seeing it all for years and years and years. And I have only recently become impassioned because I am immersed in the problem. So, John, I want to thank you for being on the show with us today. We'll talk during the week, and then we'll certainly talk on next week's What's It All About. So you take care of yourself.
Wonderful.
God bless you and give you strength to do the work you're doing.
One thing I want to also let people know that I'm going to talk about solutions to this problem as well.
Well, I understand that you have some things that may really be good solutions, and I want to support that as much as I possibly can. So God be with you. Please continue your work, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody, I hope you heard. I hope you know, when we listen to something, it doesn't guarantee that we hear it. Hearing it means absorbing it, getting it into our mind, wanting to understand and learn, and then getting off our butt and doing something about it, because without action, nothing happens. So we got about 2 minutes left. Is that right? Oh my gosh, time flies, right? Is that the airport motto, Tempus Fugit? Time flies. I think that's what that means in Latin. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you how wonderful life is, how beautiful we are as creations of an incredibly beautiful, powerful, loving Creator. I want us to take responsibility for using the gift of our life properly, for being the best we can, being the best lover, the best human being, the best helper, the best supporter, the best learner, the best worker. Be the best in everything, and you will never, ever go wrong. I want you all to tune in next Wednesday at 3 o'clock on KCAA 1050 on your AM radio dial, podcast. And please, if you would again tell everybody, Brandon, how they can listen to the podcast, and they can also watch it. But be careful, when you look at me, you might get scared. I looked at myself on the screen right now, and my hair looks like a wild banshee. But don't let me scare you. Don't let me scare you. So, Brandon, can you tell people how to do the podcast?
Sure. You go to kcaaradio.com. You click on Listen Now it's Listen Live. I'm sorry. You click on Listen Live to listen live. There's also that video feed. If you want to listen to past shows, you go to Schedule, click on Wednesday, and on What's It All About, you click on Podcasts, and there you will have every show.
Well, that's wonderful. You keep all of this information in your computer. That's
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. Well, you know what? I sometimes say God bless you, but I'm not going to say that, because God blesses us by our very existence. What my prayer is for all of you is that we may wake up and listen and act responsibly.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Tom Busby, CNBC. A big recall to tell you about that could affect a lot of families. Toyota recalling over 300,000 older model Sienna minivans in the U.S. because they can unexpectedly shift out of the park position and even roll away on their own. On Wall Street today, with shares of IBM having their best day in a decade, the Dow closed above 23,000 for the first time ever, up 160 points, notching a new record-closing high, as did the Nasdaq. The Amazon experience opening at dozens of select Kohl's stores in Chicago and Los Angeles today, allowing Amazon shoppers to make returns right inside and hopefully do some shopping there. Another setback in housing. New home construction fell to a one-year low in September because of all those hurricanes. And Nielsen, the TV ratings company, now says it's able to measure how many people are watching streaming TV shows and movies like on Netflix or Hulu. Tom Busby, CNBC.
When you're hiring, you want qualified candidates fast, and it can be hard to know where to find them. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Whether you need entry-level or highly skilled employees, Indeed helps you find great talent and make the right hire. Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to give their first job post premium visibility as a sponsored job. Redeem this offer at Indeed.com/promo. That's Indeed.com/promo. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
NBC News Radio, I'm Tom Roberts. The White House says just because President Trump referred to a fallen soldier as your guy doesn't mean he doesn't know his name. Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders made the comment today when pressed about a call Trump made this week to Maisha Johnson, the widow of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson. Sanders accused the news media of helping to politicize the serviceman's death.
It frankly is a disgrace of the media to try to portray an act of kindness like that and that gesture and to try to make it into something that it isn't.
Counter to comments made by Johnson's widow, Sanders insists that the president was completely respectful and sympathetic. Attorney General Jeff Sessions says he completely agrees with President Trump's decision to fire FBI Director James Comey. In a Senate hearing today, Sessions cited Comey's handling of the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails.
I don't think I've heard of a situation in which a major case in which the Department of Justice prosecutors were involved that the
Police in Maryland and Delaware are trying to track down a suspect in 2 shootings that left a combined 3 people dead and 3 more wounded. They believe Radee Prince targeted his victims at businesses in a northern Baltimore suburb and in Wilmington. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell doesn't think the league needs to make any changes to its national anthem policy, but he does believe everyone should stand.
It's also important for us to honor our flag and to our country, and we think our fans expect us to do that.
Goodell spoke today following the NFL owners' meetings in New York City. The new Star Wars movie is officially being named. In a video, Chewbacca is seen handing director Ron Howard a sign with the title of the movie, which is called Solo, a Star Wars story. Solo is set for release next March. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
It's time to make the Tri-City Center in Redlands a regular part of your weekly shopping experience. Tri-City is home to a wide assortment of quality businesses. Soon, the Tri-City Center will become home to Ocean Aquatics. Ocean Aquatics will offer a wide variety of exotic tropical fish, along with food, accessories, and tanks of all shapes and sizes for every home or business. The Tri-City Center is located just off the I-10 between Alabama and the Tennessee exits in Redlands. Visit the Tri-City Center today and discover why it's called the Mall with a Heart.
Highland Palms Healthcare Center reminds you we owe today's success in large part to those people who brought our generation into the world. Let's all remember an elderly person in our community. A simple visit or phone call can make all the difference. This message from your friends at Highland Palms Healthcare Center in Highland, the finest in skilled nursing. Call 909-862-0611 or visit highlandpalmshc.com. Remember, love is ageless and growing older should be graceful.
You've tuned in to KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Michael Berry Show, live from the studios of KCAA Radio, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and 102.8 FM. Glad to have you on board. If you want to get to the show, you can do it a couple ways. Email the show at mbsportsshow@gmail.com. That's 2 S's. mbcsportsshow@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook, comment there. Also, get on the old Twitter box. Our handle is MB Sports Show. Glad to have you on board. Jam-packed as always. We're hoping quarter after this hour we can get to Kurt Heelan, Pro Basketball Talk, NBC Sports. And we got a lot of talk about. It was opening night in basketball, and all kinds of happenings went on last night. So hopefully we can catch up with him shortly. We've got the Astros right now struggling in the Bronx. Lost 2, won 2 at home, lost 2 so far. Tonight, Game 5, it's in Yankee Stadium. And right now, the Yankees are winning 3-0. Oh, 4-0. 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Yankees. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error, a big error in this inning in the bottom of the 5th for the Astros. The bottom of the 5th started out, the Yankees were up 2-0, bottom of the 5th. Frazier flied out to center. Hadley then singled to third and got to second on a throwing error by Alex Bergman. Gardner actually grounded back to the pitcher. And then old Aaron Judge, they're afraid to pitch to him now. He walked. And then their catcher Sanchez was able to single to left. Headley scored. Judge went to third. And just as we got on the air, as Michael Berry opened his mouth, D.D. Gregorius singled to center. Judge scored, and Sanchez made it to third. So with right now, it's 2 outs, 2 on, first and third. And Keuchel's pitching, and I don't know if he's going to make it out of the bottom of the 5th. And let me tell you something. The Yankees are doing it at home. And, again, you know, home field advantage, I think, is one of the biggest things in sports, but especially in baseball. And Yankee Stadium is proving to take the young Houston Astros team and put a lot more pressure on them than I think there is. So Houston's going to have to do something with their bats. They've been very, very quiet in the Bronx, in New York. And Yankees right now are stepping on the throat. It's 4-0. Now, when the series goes back to Houston, again, Yankees have to win 1 or 2 of those, and they're going to have to beat somebody named Justin Verlander, who was just acquired by the Houston Astros. So, but the Yankees are familiar with Verlander. When Verlander obviously was with the Detroit Tigers, and so they know what they're facing. It would be a little bit different if Verlander was pitching against a National League club because, obviously they wouldn't have seen as much of him as the Yankees have over the years. So Keuchel is now out. My man, Will Harris from LSU, is in, and he hasn't appeared in the series. So he's getting his first taste of Yankee Stadium in this Yankee lineup that has just come from nowhere to score some runs. And again, 4-0. Gregorius just got himself a single, and it looks kind of bleak right now for your Houston Astros. Again, I thought the Astros were going to win, and to be quite honest with you, and of course I have to be, but I think the Astros may get 2 in Houston, so we'll have to see. Aaron Hicks is up. Again, Will Harris is pitching, and later on tonight we've got the Los Angeles Dodgers against the Chicago Cubs, and the Cubs have to win 4 straight. That's going to be tough against the pitching staff of the Los Angeles Dodgers and the way they're hitting right now. They're clicking. But here's the thing. If the Dodgers win tonight, it's going to be a 5-day layoff. And guess what, folks? Teams that have had 5-day layoffs do not win the World Series. They haven't won one. So it might be better off they lose 1 or 2 and then come back. But I'm just kidding on that. Obviously, they got to go out and win it. And but again, 5-day layoffs for these teams are not good because they don't win the World Series. So right now, 4-0 in New York. The Yankees looking good. And when we come back, we hope to have Kurt Heelan on the phone. We're going to talk a little NBA. We got some NFL. We got it all for you right here on the Michael Berry Show. You're listening to the Michael Berry Show on KCAA 1050 AM.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Hi, this is Bev from Let's Go Shopping with Bev and Friends. If you like to shop the way I like to shop, you got to remember, tune in to each Thursday afternoon at 3 p.m. That's right, we moved to Thursday at 3 p.m. with the same fun, laughing, great guests, and fantastic interviews. So remember, tune in at 3 p.m. on Thursday, right here on KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and 102.3 FM. Ciao.
How would you like to get a free bottle of green tea CR from Purity Products? Just answer yes to any one of these questions. Are you concerned about your energy levels? What about your cardio health and joint function? Do you like the idea of burning more fat? Well, if you answered yes, we want to send you a free bottle of Green Tea CR to help you burn fat while you stay fit and trim. Green Tea CR combines premium quality green tea with curcumin and resveratrol in one tiny pill. And this little pill delivers big health benefits for your heart, your joints, energy, and metabolism. Best of all, you can get a free bottle of Green Tea CR today. Just cover shipping. Call right now and request your free bottle. Dial 1-800-646-3048. That's 1-800-646-3048. 1-800-646-3048. Again, call now. 1-800-646-3048.
Odie Berkeley Group Incorporated in Colton reminds listeners that our nation was built on hard work, dedication, and honor. No one exemplifies these qualities better than the members of our military. As these brave men and women return home, let's help our businesses and our country by considering them first when we hire. This message is from Odie Berkeley Group Incorporated, 575 East Carrion Drive in Colton. Call 909-370-0911.
Mark Christopher Auto Center presents the Vehicle Upgrade Event. That's right. It's time for the model year end clearance and 2018 introduction at Mark Christopher Auto Center. That means you can consider more car than you anticipated for the money you want to spend. Chevys, Buicks, and GMC trucks. Some Cadillacs are sign and drive deals. As always, it's California's biggest and best selection, and it's never undersold. You'll find Mark Christopher Auto Center right on the 10 freeway in Ontario, or you can go to markchristopher.com. Mark Christopher is California's #1 volume GM dealer, family owned and doing things right since 1975. Remember, the giant model year-end clearance and vehicle upgrade event is on now at Mark Christopher Auto Center, Vineyard exit of Interstate 10 in Ontario.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Welcome back to the Michael Berry Show, live from KCAA, 1050 AM. We've got the Yankees. The Astros finally got them out of the bottom of the fifth, so it's now 4-0, as we said, and we'll keep you up to date on that. Folks, last night was a fun night to watch basketball. Finally, the NBA starts up, and we're no longer, we're into the first quarter of the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. Highly anticipated game because of the Kyrie Irving trade and Boston getting Hayward from Utah, and he's finally getting back with his former college coach, Brad Stevens, and boy, what a gruesome happening in Cleveland last night when Gordon Hayward went up for a pass to dunk the basketball, and he came down on his leg, and the ankle dislocated, and then the tibia just broke. I mean, it was horrific. When you get those types of things, it really just says, how fragile the body is, and how amazing that you don't get so many of these freakish type accidents. And that's because these guys are great athletes. They've practiced, and they're under control with their body. And really, when Gordon Hayward came down last night, he actually came down on his toe, and that was the problem. He couldn't get the ball of the foot down to be able to at least shift some of his weight on his foot. And that toe just stuck like a ballerina, and then his weight carried him over, dislocated the ankle, which then all the weight had to come down on something. It was the bone, and my goodness. So we feel for Gordon Hayward and obviously family, because that's tough. We'll have to see if he can come back from something like this. I mean, it's something that obviously can be fixed, and they probably did their work with him today, with all the rehab and so on. But we'll have to see what happens. I doubt he's going to be able to come back this year. That would be a modern medical miracle if they could do something with that. But the old joke is, at least you broke a bone, because the ligaments, it takes longer for the ligaments to. But he does have that dislocated ankle, and boy, they had to pop it into place in the locker room, and what a night. So what does Boston do from here on out? Well, Boston was supposed to give the Cleveland Cavaliers a shot to win that whole eastern side and go maybe play the Warriors if they were able to continue. We'll talk about them in just a little bit as well. But folks, look, somebody's got to score 20 points on the wing for the Boston Celtics. I mean, it's that easy, because you don't have one guy doing it. Somebody else has to step up and score the ball. I mean, that's the bottom line, is you got to score the basketball. And so who's going to do it? Well, Jaylen Brown can definitely do it. I mean, he's somebody that can step up. The Celtics are also going to look at a guy from Oklahoma State who was a point guard, but Marcus Smart really hasn't shown the prowess that he probably could have up to this point in his career as far as an offensive player, for sure. Big, strong guy, can rebound. He's going to have to take up some of the slack. And again, look, little Isaiah Thomas carried that team last year, and now little Kyrie Irving is going to have to carry the Boston Celtics. So they really, I mean, I hate to say it, Gordon Hayward would have made them a great team, because I think he's a terrific player, would have bought in and been able to get a lot of the guys on the same page with the coach, which is so important in basketball or in any sport. But, in the NBA, if some of your players are starting to go rogue as a coach, you've got some struggles there, because it's tough to rein some of these high potent millionaire guys that think they're a little bit better than they are because they've gotten paid a tremendous amount of money. And but so that would have been one of the strengths that Gordon Hayward would have been able to do for the Celtics. But they're not dead, believe me. And Brad Stevens is considered one of the best coaches in the NBA. He's got about 5, 6, 7 years experience now out of the college ranks, and he's probably the guy that's going to take over USA basketball. If not this year, he will take it over and be a mainstay in that program. But having said that, he's going to have to coach them up, and so we'll have to see what the actual happenings that happen with the Boston team, because again, they're not as deep as Chicago or Cleveland. So they're not as deep as Cleveland, and that could be the problem when they get into the playoffs, if they can be that deep. So they've got some retooling to do. The Cleveland Cavaliers, on the other hand, folks, my goodness gracious, they didn't look too bad in their first performance of the year, and LeBron James wasn't supposed to be, hardly playing in this game. He had a bum ankle, and what happens? He plays 41 minutes and has a terrific game, and even he was kind of sickened by the injury. But the Cavs have a really, really it's an unbelievable roster. Now Isaiah Thomas is out with an injury, so Derrick Rose plays. Dwayne Wade is the other guard. I mean, these two guys are solid NBA stars. You've got LeBron James at the 3. The guy that I thought the Boston Celtics could not lose, and they did, was Jay Crowder. He's one of those guys that just gets in there. He can rebound. He can finish inside, step out a little bit, but he's physical. He can get up and down the floor, and he can guard. So he's 6'7", 240, and he can do some things for any team. And I think this is the biggest piece of the Cavaliers puzzle that they actually had to do. So, and then Kevin Love, they moved to center. And now here's what they do. So Tristan Thompson now comes in at 6'8" off the bench. J.R. Smith at 6'6" comes in off the bench. And Kyle Korver comes in off the bench. Amon Shumpert comes off the bench. Jeff Green at 6'9" comes off the bench. Channing Frye at 6'11" comes off the bench. And Jose Calderon at 6'3" comes off the bench. The Cavs are loaded. No wonder LeBron James didn't really care if Kyrie Irving left. And the Boston Celtics, as good as they could have been, folks, they sold the farm, and it kind of kicked them in the butt last night. And now you see the Cleveland Cavaliers with the roster that they have, unbelievable, just unbelievable. So it's tough. So here we go. Kurt Heelan, are you there?
I am here. How's it going?
Good. How are you? I'm just warming up the crowd for you. And we were talking a little bit about the Celtics, but really about what the Cavaliers have to offer. First of all, your views on Gordon Hayward, and then the game last night.
Yeah, that was, I mean, obviously that's just a gruesome, kind of horrific way to start the season, and it really sucked the energy out of the game for the first half. I mean, I think we see this in the NFL. We see this in other sports where when a guy's carted off and it's like a serious injury, there's a certain, NFL games suddenly look like, junior high flag football for a couple of possessions because nobody wants to, it just kind of changes the dynamic. And that was the case here. That was a pretty shell-shock, particularly Celtics team. But look, they showed some heart and came back, but they have a lot of flexibility. They run a lot of like 6'8" guys, but they don't have the depth of playmaking anymore. It's going to be a little bit of the Kyrie Irving show, some small ball stuff, and honestly, that'll probably be good enough. I mean, certainly good enough to get them into the playoffs. They'll have 40-something wins, but it is going to be a setback for them just because defense was one of their other question marks coming into the season, and frankly, Hayward's a really solid defender on the wing who's now gone and going to be replaced by Jason Tatum, who's a rookie who didn't defend terribly well in college and is certainly going to struggle on that end. And it created some of the problems they have. And Cleveland Cleveland was a bit sloppy. Their conditioning wasn't there. Their defense was not on point. Their rotations weren't sharp. And it doesn't matter. They're talented enough and deep enough that they've got time to work all that out and probably still be the number one seed in the East.
Yeah, I mean, and so they've got their work cut out for them. The game last night, though, I thought the Cavaliers, with their depth, they're going to be something to watch this year, I believe.
Yeah, I think look, they're in that second tier behind a healthy Golden State team. And look, I think last night we saw Golden State's vulnerable. Now, granted, it's the first game of the season. They lost the first game of the season last night by 29. It kind of worked out for them. But you can see that, like, if you take, in this case, Draymond Green out for the fourth quarter, suddenly you can have a good Houston team get on a run and make plays, and things are possible. And Cleveland is sort of in that second-tier category where they probably need some help if Golden State's, conditioned and sharp and everybody's healthy. But they're not that far off of them, especially as long as they've got LeBron James playing at that level. But they've got guys who have been there before. When they get Isaiah Thomas back, that gives them another score. Their challenge as well is just going to be on the defensive end because I don't think it's a big secret. If you start Kevin Love, Dwayne Wade, and either Isaiah Thomas or Derrick Rose, that's not a really good defensive team. Like you're going to have some challenges on that end. But I think that they can score enough and make enough stops to certainly win the East, and with a little luck, push Golden State.
And again, last night I turned on the Golden State Warrior game with the Houston Rockets, and here's Swaggy P running up and down the floor, shooting some threes, and getting 23 points last night. If Swaggy P has to score for the Golden State Warriors, I don't know if we're going to see the Warriors in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was one of those nights where he was 6 of 7 from three and kept getting good looks, and then probably gave about that many points back on the defensive end. If you watch, they're really actually trying to guide him around defensively. A team pretty much on a string normally defensively and really sharp, and they're like at one point, Sean Livingston's literally like pointing, like, you've got to be over there. There's some stuff to go on, but it's a long season, and the bottom line for Swaggy is if he doesn't defend, he won't be out there very long. They can get away with it this early in the season. They're not too concerned about anything. They're going to be the number one seed. They're going to be really tough to beat. But you could tell Golden State was treating that like the first game of '82. They look a little out of condition, and I'll tell you, just as a note to the bettors out there, teams that come off of those China trips in the preseason, it takes them 2-3 weeks to really get their legs back. It's just never quite. It throws their whole routine, their training, their eating, all this stuff off, and no team is quite right for a few weeks.
True that. And again, it's the beginning of the season. I mean, we're kind of joking around a little bit, but Houston kind of proved last night that you can't fall asleep on them because like anybody knows, 12, 15-point lead in the NBA is nothing. But Houston's gonna be a tough matchup for a lot of teams this year.
You know what I liked about it? I think what was great about them. Yeah, Chris Paul didn't play at the end. He was hobbling a little because of his leg. He'll be fine. James Harden was James Harden, but I think you've got to be happy if you're a Rocket fan in this sense. Clint Capella looked really good. He seems to have grown, but more importantly, the guys you went out and got this summer to specifically kind of go at the Warriors. P.J. Tucker had a great game. He was nailing corner threes. He was playing physical defense. He was great. Luka Mute had a good game. Those are guys you brought in specifically to. You need an army of wing defenders if you're going to play the Warriors because they're just so loaded. They brought these guys in, and for a night it worked. It's what you wanted to see if you're a Rocket fan. Now, to be fair, they kind of treated this like a playoff game, and there was an 8-man rotation. They went heavy with their starters. This wasn't they were taking this really seriously, but I don't blame them. That's a good confidence boost to start the season to say, hey, that's our target, and we can hang with these guys. That's a great way for them to start the season.
Absolutely, and they got to make a statement, and that was a statement game, and they made their statement. So, we're talking to Kurt Heelan. He is he runs Pro Talk, Basketball Pro Talk, and sir, let's talk a little bit about the 76ers. Everybody continues to talk about the 76ers. I'm not sold. I'm just not sold.
There is they've got to prove it. I mean, on paper, I love Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid was phenomenal in the 31 games he played. And I think I like the addition of J.J. Redick, the Clipper out here. They paid a ton for him, but on a 1-year contract, so it's not that bad. It's not a bad deal. And you need a guy, if you've got a young team, you really have to have the right veterans in the locker room to kind of show these guys how to be professional, how to hustle every play, get your body, but more than just like on the court stuff, it's the preparation, it's the taking care of yourself, it's eating right. J.J. Redick may be one of the best examples of that in the league. I mean, you remember him, he was a star coming out of Duke, and it did not come easy to him in the NBA. He had to reshape his body, he had to reshape his game, he could always shoot. He had to develop a lot of other things, and it took him years to become one of the best, better two guards. I don't know, one of the best, but a really reliable quality two-guard in the league. It took him years to get there. You want those kind of guys around the young guys to show them what to do. I think Jimmy Butler brings some of that to Minnesota. So I think they have the potential, but, their opening night game against the Wizards, you want a sneaky good team in the East. Watch out for Washington. With Boston's injuries now, with that injury, if Washington were the 2 seed now, I wouldn't be shocked.
Right. Hey, can we go to a quick break and get you back on the other side? I just got a couple more questions on who you feel, and you did on NBCSports.com on the Pro Basketball Talk. I want to go over a little bit of the things that you had written and talked about for the season MVPs and so on. Can you help us out there?
Oh, certainly.
Okay. Hey, we'll take a break. This is the Michael Berry Show, KCAA 1050 AM. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
The Yankees do it again, coming back from a 4-0 deficit in Game 4 of the ALCS in the Bronx last night to top the Astros 6-4. The best-of-7 championship series now tied at 2 games apiece. Game 5 today in New York. Meanwhile, the Dodgers a win away from their first World Series since '88 after topping the Cubs in the National League Championship Series with a 6-1 Game 3 win at Wrigley. LA goes for the series sweep tonight. The NBA regular season is here, and it was a short-lived debut for new Celtics forward Hayward. Hayward suffered a dislocated ankle and fractured tibia in gruesome fashion early in the first quarter in their season-opening loss to the Cavaliers in Cleveland. Head coach Brad Stevens.
Whether you play on the Celtics or play on the Cavs, I mean, nobody wants to see that.
102-99 the final. Kyrie Irving with 22 points and 10 dimes in his return to Cleveland. In the nightcap, the Rockets shocked the defending champion Warriors 122-121 at Oracle Arena. That's sports. Jay Corwin, NBC News Radio.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Tom Ladd. For this afternoon, it'll be mostly sunny. Expect a high near 91. Calm wind out of the west at 5. Tonight, clear with a low of 59. Thursday's outlook sunny, high of 83. Patchy drizzle Thursday night, fog after 11 p.m. Increasing clouds, expect a low of 58 and a west wind at 5 to 10. I'm Tom Ladd, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways, or the trifecta of talk of Southern California. KCAA 102.3 Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
It's time for the KCAA Community Calendar. I'm Joaquin Alva. The Hometown Heroes Military Banner Recognition Program honors residents and immediate family members like spouse, children, grandchildren, siblings who are serving on active duty in the United States Armed Forces. Banners are installed at least twice a year and remain on display for a minimum of 2 years or until a service person is no longer serving on active duty. If you would like to show your appreciation to your loved one, please call 909-797-0437. That's 909-797-0437. And that's a look at the KCAA Community Bulletin Board. Listen daily for more upcoming events, only on the station that leaves no listener behind. KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Michael Berry Show. On the line with us right now, NBCSports.com, Pro Basketball Talk, Kurt Heelan. Kurt, we talked a little bit about some of the happenings last night, but I want to look down the road here a little bit with the NBA season. It seems to me like LeBron James is going to have a clear path to the MVP award. Your thoughts on that?
He's the guy I picked, in part because he doesn't have Kyrie Irving there. He's not going to have Isaiah Thomas as a secondary scorer until January, at some point in the earliest. So I think a little more attention, a little more numbers. I mean, he played, 41 minutes last night, 44 minutes. And
crazy, yeah.
Numbers. It's his. To be honest with you, I think it can be his if he wants it. That's always but back during the regular season a little, or play fewer games, and really kind of focus on having his body right for the postseason. We'll see how they have to handle that this year when he's got a little less help around him. But I think he's going to be right there. But, you never know, John. Like, you can't really count out Westbrook or Harden. I mean, they can still put up numbers even though they've got help this year. Kawhi Leonard, if he gets healthy, when he gets healthy, is going to be, back to being an MVP caliber player. And there's always guys who sneak up. Maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo takes another step forward. Maybe John Wall lifts the Wizards up. I mean, guys do sneak into these conversations, but I think just starting off the season, I think that LeBron has put himself in a position to kind of, hey, don't forget about me. I'm still really good at this basketball thing.
All right. Who do you think will be Rookie of the Year? I mean, we got a lot of pretty good rookies out there that could make a statement, have to really step up early in some of these situations. The Boston Celtics, but who do you think is going to win that Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, it's funny because that award always kind of goes to a good player, a skilled guy who goes to a bad team and gets the ball in his hands, right? And I mean, not last year, but in general, but that's the kind of mold for the award. There's a whole bunch of those guys this year. Lonzo Ball is that kind of guy. Dennis Smith Jr. is going to put up great numbers and could be really good down in Dallas. I picked Ben Simmons because Sixers are going to kind of make, if you're getting a healthy Embiid, I think you can get into the playoffs. I think his passing, he could score 10, 11 a game, and his passing will be phenomenal because he can do that. But there are other guys out there, and he's got that second year. But I there's a lot of guys who are capable of kind of sneaking into that conversation. Josh Jackson this year, and honestly, the Gordon Hayward injury kind of opens the door for Jason Tatum, and he wasn't going to get enough touches coming off the bench behind Hayward, and there wasn't going to be a ton of run. But the injuries there are going to open up more minutes for him, and the guy can score. So I mean, he had 14 last night. So I think he could be in the conversation as well.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I didn't even really think about that, but yeah, his minutes are going to go up a little bit and get him a few more shots than he would have. So, and so you really think Brad Stevens will end up being the coach of the year simply maybe because of the injury, or it's just you think the Celtics are going to be that good and it's going to be because of obviously his ability to get these guys to play?
Yeah, I made that prediction even before the injury. I thought that. Look, the coach of the year tends to go one of two ways. It's either the guy who team overachieves expectations type of thing, or a guy who's consistently lifted his team up for years, and it's kind of an award, a legacy award, for lack of a better word. Like, hey, you kind of earned this over 3 years, so we're going to give it to you. And I think Stevens falls a little bit more into the latter category, although how well this team responds now to the injury will be part of that determination. But look, he is one of the best coaches, X's and O's wise and motivation wise. I mean, you talk to players around the league about the coaches they want to play for, and Popovich comes up a lot. But I'll tell you, Brad Stevens' name is way at the top of most guys' list now. They want to play with him. They look at that system. They see guys get put in good positions and get opportunities, and they want to be there and be part of that. So I think, look, we'll see if he wins it this year. He's going to win, I think, multiple of those down the line. I think, honestly, he's, if not the next, within the next two Team USA coaches. I mean, he's that level of coach right now. He might get that job after Popovich. He's going to win a few of these. I picked him to win this year, but you never know now.
Right. I mean, that's definitely. But it's better to happen. Well, not in the first quarter, obviously, if it's going to happen, but early in the year, because it does give him some time to work some kinks out now and try to maneuver some people around. But again, his defensive stuff that he makes his teams work on, I think is what maybe sets him apart, because he gets those guys to play hard and play defense. And now that brings us to the defensive player of the year. And you like Rudy Gobert, huh?
I think Utah is going to be sneaky good in the West. And by that I just mean they lost Hayward, and they still stand a good chance of making the playoffs. If the question is really, are they going to score enough? But they are going to be a top 5 for sure, probably top 3, top 2 defense. And Hayward's Gobert's a large part of that. I mean, they funnel everything to him. He is the best shot blocking, shot altering big in the league. So I picked him. If you told me it was Kawhi Leonard or Draymond Green, I think any one of those three are really legitimate preseason picks, and some other guy, maybe Avery Bradley or somebody sneaks into this conversation down the line. But those three guys are I think they were the top 3 finishers last year, and it's kind of hard to pick against them. I'm not sure who jumps into that category this year. I don't think it's going to be Dwight Howard. Let me put it that way.
No, that's a solid take from you, Kurt. That's very good. The 6th man, Kelly Olynyk. Now, I also said when they were making these trades and Boston was moving some people that might be somebody that they would miss also. Yeah. And I think he's, like you said, he could be the 6th man and help Miami get to the playoffs. I think Miami's a great fit system-wide, so much so that he may be out of the 6th man of the year running, because I think he's starting now. We'll see if that sticks. It can either be him or James Johnson, and they'll probably bounce back and forth a little bit at first. But I just think he's going to fit really well in that system, really getting opportunities and spacing the floor with that second unit and getting points. And with 6th man of the year, it's unless it's Andre Iguodala, it's his 6th man of the year. It often goes to the Jamal Crawfords or Lou Williams or somebody who comes in and lights it up, and that could be Kelly Olynyk. But I'll tell you the other thing. Eric Gordon looked really good last night for Houston, and he's going to be right in that mix too. Mm-hmm. So Carmelo Anthony took a shot at Phil Jackson, huh? Said he was going to trade him for a bag of chips. I'd like to see him and see how he's going to help the Oklahoma City Thunder become a contender, because you can tell me better because you've got the pulse on the NBA. there weren't a lot of teams knocking down the door to want Carmelo Anthony, were there?
Not a ton, because he was making so much money in his style of play. But I think part of that was also, he had that no trade clause. So, it really was moot whether somebody like Memphis or Orlando wanted to get in the running. Orlando might have been the kind of team to get in the running, but they were never going to get him. Portland, Lillard and McCollum recruited him hard, and that's a deal that would have gotten done pretty quickly, except he didn't want to go there. Carmelo didn't want to go there. We'll see how it goes. Oklahoma City on paper can be as good as Houston, maybe even a little better than Houston. They were 10th in the league in defense last year. They add Paul George. They should be a really good defensive team. The question is, can Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony make the offense, make the sacrifices needed to their games? Are they willing to give stuff up for the betterment of the team? I mean, everybody's spoken a good game. They looked fine in the preseason. That's the preseason. When push comes to shove, are they going to be able to do this? If they can really figure out the offense, I think they're a very, very good team, but you're going to have to prove it to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be tough. And like I said, with the year that Westbrook had, I mean, goodness, he's gonna really have to give up a lot of stuff, and just to make this season work, but to keep those guys to get them to re-sign and continue to build. So that's going to be a tough thing to fill up in Oklahoma City. Well, look, so give me your two teams that are going to be in the NBA playoffs on day number 2.
The NBA Finals, or just
the NBA Finals. Yes, the NBA Finals. Because you're that good, Kurt.
Yeah, I can name a couple teams that I think are in the playoffs, but the Finals. It's so boring to say this, but I just don't see how it's not Golden State and Cleveland at the end of the day. I mean, the NBA, like all sports, I think one of the things we love about it is that it doesn't follow the script and all that. But in the NBA, more than most sports, the best team wins out. Football's got one and done in the NFL and even the college tournaments. The best, Alabama doesn't always win, and the NCAA tournament is certainly that way in basketball. And we could go on down, a 7-game baseball series is a bit of a crapshoot. But in the NBA, the best team pretty much always wins out, and it's just hard not to pick Golden State and Cleveland again, especially now that Boston's kind of come back, because I don't think Washington's, as much as I'm kind of high on them, I don't think they're on Cleveland's level. And Golden State, man, once they get it right, I just don't see anybody in the league on their level with their ability to exploit everything. It's just they took the preseason pretty lightly. The China trip got them, and they will round into form as things come along.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct, and boy, it's hard to bet against the Golden State Warriors, and once they get it clicking, it'll be tough. They always said Luke Walton was going to be one heck of a coach, and then when he found out that when you go to Los Angeles Lakers and the cupboard's bare, you're not that good of a coach anymore. So players make the league, and it's a long season. And Kurt, we are happy that you were able to take some time with us, and hopefully down the road we'll get back with you and see what other injuries and what other crazy things might happen in the NBA season this year. So we appreciate your time, Kurt.
Hey, anytime, if you can make one prediction about the NBA season, it's not going to be what we expect. Oh, something will happen.
That's for sure.
Take care.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. That's Kurt Heelan, NBCSports.com. Great insight. He does a great job, and we're glad to have him with us. So, listen, we've got the Yankees and we've got the Astros, and the Yankees are getting after it right now. Tanaka's got 6 innings, no runs, 6 strikeouts, and a walk. It's 4 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error for the Yankees. So if they can hold on here in the bottom, top of the 7th, and get through the 8th and 9th unscathed here, they're going to take a 3-2 lead, and that series is going to go back to Houston. Before we take off here, I do want to touch a little bit on the NFL. Today, some big news that the draft, which a lot of people joke. A lot of comedians are out there and they'll say, who spends all their time just sitting there watching a draft? I mean, it's got to be one of the most boring things in the world. And but if you love football, the draft is something that you always want to watch. And now Jerry Jones has his sticky hands in it, and he will use his practice facility, which is probably better than some playing facilities out there, to host the next NFL draft in Frisco, Texas. So that was laid out today. So good for him. They're trying to move that thing around and make it more fan friendly and do it outside. And now we're going to be in a state of the art practice facility in Frisco, Texas, and that's going to be a huge event in that area. It's just a growing area, and it's top notch for a lot of events. And Jerry Jones has now brought the NFL draft to that area. So I guess good for him. His football team needs to make sure that they keep their running back on the field. And it looks like for at least one more week, he's going to be able to play against the 49ers. Not that they really probably need him against the 49ers. But his 6-game suspension, and again, you heard it first on the Michael Berry show that Ezekiel Elliott would play the whole season this year, and they would deal with this suspension over the summer months, and that might happen because again, there's some legal trouble where they're going to continue to let him play, and Cowboys are right now 2-3, so they've got the 49ers. That should be a W, although the 49ers are 0-6, but they have lost every game 3 points or less. So it's not like the Dallas Cowboys have a clean shot of beating the 49ers, but with Ezekiel Elliott, they should have everybody ready and raring to go and take care of business, and even their record at 3-3. If he were to leave right now after next week, or actually this Sunday, and have to serve 6 games, that would be tough. That would be tough for the Cowboys because they haven't gotten off to the greatest of starts. So we have more news there, and we'll keep you posted on what's happening right there. Interesting that the New England Patriots now play the Atlanta Falcons. There might be some heavy hitting going in. As you know, the Patriots came back, probably one of the greatest comebacks in sports, down 28-3, third quarter, and they end up winning the Super Bowl. They've kind of got their ship in the right direction. They're 4 wins, 2 losses this year, and but they really haven't played that well. The Atlanta Falcons, on the other hand, 3-2 on the season. Really thought that there'd be maybe a little carryover from that devastating loss, but they've handled business fairly well. But they are 1-2 at home. So this upcoming game with the Patriots is going to be quite interesting. And as we go through the NFL season, obviously injuries and just like in the NBA can turn things on a dime, especially excuse me, when you lose your quarterback. And what about the poor Green Bay Packers? Now, look, Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be out a long time. He may be able to come back again. You never know with the way they can treat these injuries, but with a broken collarbone, especially in the throwing side, it's going to be quite difficult for your Green Bay Packers to get their man back in time, maybe for the playoffs, but we doubt it. So they've got to go to number 2 and number 3. But I want to talk a little bit about the hit because Aaron Rodgers' shoulder was buried into the ground, and the man with the white hat was sitting right there. I mean, he was standing watching the whole thing. And a lot of people say, oh, no, that was a clean hit. Well, look, folks, when you hit somebody high, especially a quarterback, and you drop him and land on his shoulder, and you're 200 and some pounds, 300 and some pounds, whatever the heck that guy was, with the force that goes on in that type of tackle. And again, a quarterback's vulnerable, not because he's just, a quarterback, but after they throw the ball, they're kind of just sitting there like a sitting duck, and you just hit them and drop them. You can't have the stars of the league, especially quarterbacks, get knocked out in that fashion. If he hits Aaron Rodgers waist high, he's not going to absorb that force on the shoulder, and that's why I didn't like the hit. It was an unnecessary hit, especially driving the shoulder into the ground. Some people will agree or some people will disagree, but again, you got guys like Odell Beckham out. You got J.J. Watt, who's out of the game right now. This is what makes football fun and interesting when you have elite players that play at elite levels. Green Bay will be fine. Green Bay will win some games. Will they win this game in the fourth quarter when they need to, maybe against the Bears or somebody, and Hundley can't get it done? And then people are going to say, they needed Aaron Rodgers. Well, sure, they needed Aaron Rodgers, but they may lose one or two of those games. But the Packers are a pretty good football team. And, now are they going to get to the Super Bowl with Hundley? I doubt it. There's just too many obstacles involved in a long NFL season. But, the Packers sit right now at 4-2. They're even with the Minnesota Vikings, who have their own quarterback problems. Although Case Keenum, who I'm telling you, the guy holds the record for the most yards thrown in college football. He's been on a number of teams. He's a mature quarterback. They are doing pretty well right now. So, now Teddy Bridgewater could come back. Sam Bradford, who knows, that guy's kind of beat up as it is. Again, and I'm a big guy on consistency. I mean, if you can come in and have the same thing and you get the guy to reps and you get some chemistry and you get, people playing together and they know what everybody's doing. And in football, there's just so many moving parts with 11 on one side, 11 on the other, special teams. I mean, it's crazy that the number of things that have to come together for a football team to be good. I just think that the people that can have the most consistency are the teams that win. And, when you have injuries, you've got to have somebody that can step up and take it over, and maybe not to the level of the guy that's injured, but at least to be able to play the routine plays, make the routine catches, make the routine blocks or tackles. And I think at that point your team can move on from devastating injuries. So the talk of the NFL, folks, right now is your Philadelphia Eagles. How about that? It's not the Cleveland Browns, who passed on a couple quarterbacks. They're actually 0-5, and they're looking for their first-round pick in Dallas. They'll be the first ones in Frisco, setting up shop, making sure that the computers are all set up, and they'll probably take a punter or kicker. First pick in the NFL draft, Cleveland Browns, selecting the kicker from Arizona State. And, and again, they'll continue to struggle. But boy, the Philadelphia Eagles have it going. 2-0 at home, 3-1 on the road. That's the big thing. Teams that can win on the road, especially early, you have to really consider them teams that are going to move along into the playoffs. And let me just give you an example of road wins. Right now, I told you that the New England Patriots are 4-2. They're 3-0 on the road. Pittsburgh Steelers, 4-2 on the season. They look like they're struggling. 3-1 on the road. Kansas City Chiefs, they just had their first loss from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kansas City, 3-0 on the road. Eagles, 5-1. Talk of the town. Talk of the NFL. 3-1 on the road. Who else is 3-0? How about the Carolina Panthers? 4-2 on the season, 3-0 on the road. Am I making my point, folks? Here's my point. The Los Angeles Rams, 4-2, 3-0 on the road. And so if you can win on the road in the NFL, you're going to win. I just told you the San Francisco 49ers are 0-6 on the season. They're 0-4 on the road, 0-2 at home. And again, they're not losing by very many points. But again, home field advantage, the crowd, the turf, the conditions, having to travel, having to do a lot of that stuff, and being able to play at the same level that you have when you're at home and in practice is huge in football. And so I believe that the teams that are 3-0 right now are the teams that you want to look for to continue to win, to continue to move on, and to continue to bring home a chance at the end of the year to be in the playoffs. So if you're out there betting, that's one stat that I think you need to really take a look at when you're doing any of the betting out there. So that's kind of a little wrap up of the NFL as we see it. And we'll be back next week to talk a whole heck of a lot more about the NFL and what's happening there. And we'd like to thank Kurt Heelan again. Great insights on the NBA. First games last night with a lot of drama as far as injury, and then a great comeback by the Houstons. Got a whole slate of action tonight, and obviously throughout the week you're going to start seeing a lot of NBA basketball, which makes it nice because right now we've got all the sports. We've got hockey playing, so you can watch hockey. You can watch a little bit of NFL during the week, and then on the weekends you've got NBA now, and then we've got Major League Baseball playoffs. So if you like sports, you're in the right part of the year for sure. And again, always college football. And then soon, very soon, in about a week or two, you're going to start seeing college basketball. That's right. And maybe next week we'll talk about Rick Pitino suing Adidas and trying to get some money out of it and saving his coaching career. But that's for another time. And so listen, if you want to get into the show, you want to make comments on the show, the email is mbsportsshow@gmail.com. We have a Twitter handle at mbsportsshow. And we'll be with you next week, folks, for more exciting sports action. And right now, again, the Yankees have scored another run on a Sanchez homer, and it's now 5-0. And so it looks like your Yankees are going to be 3-2 going back to Houston. And again, tonight, we've got the Dodgers, who could actually take the Cubs and tell them good night and see you next year. So they may sweep that series. And again, wait 5 days or so to get to either the Yankees or the Houston Astros for your World Series. And I'm all excited about that because I think it'll be a pretty good World Series, although the way the Dodgers are playing, they may make short work of anybody that they get in the World Series. So again, like I said, we've got some great sports action over the next few weeks because all the sports are out there, and you want to listen and go to www.michaelberryshow.com to get all your sports action. Glad to have you with us. We'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same station. This is the Michael Berry Show on KCAA 1050 AM.
Homelessness, it's not going away, and you can help. And you can help make a difference locally, right here.
I'm Mary Winter with the Faces of Yucaipa, a homeless advocacy and services Facebook group. Becoming educated and involved yourself.
It's simple. Check out Faces of Yucaipa on Facebook. Or contact Mary Winter at SamaritanProjectForChange@gmail.com. That's the number 4, SamaritanProjectForChange@gmail.com.
There's lots of little small things you can do to make a big difference.
Contact us here at KCAAradio.com and we'll help you. You can help others in your local community and right here in the Inland Empire. This message from the KCAA Community Calendar.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Tom Busby. After its CEO said the company isn't doing enough to protect users, Twitter now cracking down on hateful, violent, and harassing tweets, introducing new guidelines that tighten up existing rules and close some loopholes, as well as some new restrictions on what can be sent. On Wall Street today, surging shares of IBM helped the Dow close above 23,000 for the first time ever. The Dow up 160 points, the Nasdaq up just a fraction, but both closing at new all-time highs. Gilead Sciences getting the FDA's approval for Yescarta, a new therapy to treat lymphoma. 1 year's worth of the drug will cost $173,000. Blue Apron, the struggling meal delivery kit company that's now competing with Amazon, laying off another 6% of its staff. And with the holidays just around the corner, credit card rates are rising again. Creditcards.com says the average rate is now 25%. Tom Busby, CNBC.
So what would you do with an extra $500 a month in your budget? $500. This isn't hypothetical, by the way. This is something you may need to think about very soon if you decide to become a member of MediShare. MediShare is a way to pay for your health care, and typically it costs $500 less per month for a family versus other health care plans. So seriously, think about this. You could pay off loans, pay down a mortgage, save the money for retirement, donate to charity. That would be a big deal. But you know what? Here's the best thing. MediShare works. It has 250,000 members, and it's growing fast. With MediShare, not only do you save, you don't have to pay for things you don't believe in either, and that is a beautiful thing too. So here's how you can find out more, and you might actually wind up saving even more than $500 a month. So check into it. Here's the number. Call 844-91-BIBLE. That's 844-91-BIBLE. Now available in Montana. Call 844-91-BIBLE.
NBC News Radio. I'm Tom Roberts. The White House says just because President Trump referred to a fallen soldier as your guy doesn't mean he doesn't know his name. Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders made the comment today when pressed about a call Trump made this week to Maisha Johnson, the widow of Sergeant LaDavid Johnson. Sanders accused the news media of helping to politicize the serviceman's death.
It frankly is a disgrace of the media to try to portray an act of kindness like that and that gesture and to try to make it into something that it isn't.
Counter to comments made by Johnson's widow, Sanders insists that the president was completely respectful and sympathetic. Attorney General Jeff Sessions says he completely agrees with President Trump's decision to fire FBI Director James Comey. In a Senate hearing today, Sessions cited Comey's handling of the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails.
I don't think I've heard of a situation in which a major case in which the Department of Justice prosecutors were involved, that the investigative agency announces the closure of the investigation.
Sessions refused to reveal details of his private talks with President Trump about Comey. Police in Maryland and Delaware are trying to track down a suspect in two shootings that left a combined 3 people dead and 3 more wounded. They believe Radee Prince targeted his victims at businesses in a northern Baltimore suburb and in Wilmington. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell doesn't think the league needs to make any changes to its national anthem policy, but he does believe everyone should stand.
It's also important for us to honor our flag and our country, and we think our fans expect us to do that.
Goodell spoke today following the NFL owners' meetings in New York City. The new Star Wars movie is officially being named. In a video, Chewbacca is seen handing director Ron Howard a sign with the title of the movie, which is called Solo, a Star Wars story. Solo is set for release next March. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now. So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to...
Stretch, stretch, stretch. Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal here with Long Beach Lenny and Colonel Bucky. Welcome to everybody listening on our NBC Sports affiliates from coast to coast, SB Nation right here in fabulous Las Vegas, KMZQ 670 The Score, as well as iHeartRadio and Oceanic Time Warner Cable over KPHI 96.7 FM and 1130 AM. This show is brought to you by Black Diamond PR Firm, representing actors, athletes, authors, musicians, and small businesses since 2007. Everything you do is public relations. Black Diamond PR Firm, we are your people. Visit them at visit them at blackdiamondfirm.com or call 877-256-3075. That's 877-256-3075. All righty. All right, Lenny, what's crack-a-lackin'?
Man, things are good, my friend. Things are good, especially in Major League Baseball. You know why it's good, Sal? The Dodgers have won again. Is that a good thing?
It's really good if you're a Dodger fan.
Actually, it's really, really good for the Cubs right now, Sal.
Oh.
Because I think that it's all going according to plan.
Oh,
with Cubs
knock it
setting
off.
themselves up for a complete historical comeback.
This
Drama.
guy. This guy. Are you kidding me?
Make it dramatic.
You're killing me over here.
They're just rope-a-doping the Dodgers into a false sense of security.
Okay. Well, you know what's going to happen after the next game? Down goes Frazier. That's what's going on. Your team is done. They're done. The Dodgers are going to the World Series. The Dodgers are going to win the World Series. It doesn't matter who they're playing. I told you the World
Listen
Series
to
is being played
that.
right now.
I mean, it
sounds of
doesn't matter who
silence.
they're playing. It absolutely matters who they're playing.
Oh, are you going to jump on the
this
Yankee
is-
bandwagon? Are you going to jump back on the Aaron Judge bandwagon again?
And here we go. Are we going to look at this and say, oh, the Dodgers are going to make history. They're going to go through the entire playoffs. They're going to go through the entire playoffs without, losing a game. Are we bold enough to say that now?
Did I
Is
say
what
that?
you're saying, Sal?
I did not say that, but what I did say is that the Dodgers will win the World Series. I don't care how many games it takes, 2-3 losses, whatever. Who cares? The bottom line is a win is a win is a win, period. Now what?
Okay, so we're not gonna stamp the show, but we certainly are going to Can you rattle? Do you have the rattling of currency there in the studio there in Vegas?
Rattling
Our
of
that
currency.
we use?
Show me the money!
That's right, Sal. That's what we need to hear. For those that are the new listeners in the Sports Circus, when we make a bet from the Southern California NBC studio all the way over there to Vegas, what we have is the coveted bag of red vines.
Yes!
Sal,
I heard you
am
use
saying
that yesterday.
Yes!
I am saying right now, no. The Dodgers will not win the World Series, and I'm willing to put, okay, we'll make it this way. If the Dodgers make it in the World Series, whatever the difference is in the games played, so if the Yankees win 4-2, then the difference is 2 bags of red vines. That's what would be owed.
Winner!
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
Bucky,
so
Go ahead, Bucky.
verifying that?
Okay, okay, no.
Wait, Bucky wants in on this.
No, I just I witnessed something here. Okay, so you've got the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't matter who they're playing.
And Lenny, you've got the Yankees or Houston?
I got the American League.
Wait a minute,
Okay.
Lenny. I think we're going to have you select a team first.
Oh, no. See, that's not it. You said your exact words, Greg Brady, where it doesn't matter who the Dodgers play.
You're
Therefore,
right.
it doesn't
You did
matter.
say that.
I
'Cause
will
Kershaw's
take
rested.
whatever the representative is of the American League.
Fine.
Kershaw's rested.
There you go. I'll tell you what, Kershaw might be rested, but if it does happen to be the Bronx Bombers, that will be the bigger draw, Sal. I mean, let's be real about it. If it were the Cubs and the Yankees or the Cubs and the Astros, or the Dodgers and the Astros, it would not be as big of a draw nationally as the historic matchup of the Yankees and Dodgers. Am I right?
Yes, you're right. It would blow up.
It would.
Yes, it would blow up.
Blow up coast to coast. Now that is a true coast to coast right there. So if you do have the Yankees playing, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to
Yankees
see
and
it.
Dodgers.
I'd like to see it. It'd be a bigger draw, and let's face it, it'd be East Coast against Left Coast.
And you would get all of the older players that would come out. You would get Reggie. You would get these guys that would be interviewed that would come out there.
Do we really want Reggie? Do we really want Reggie?
He's mellowed out in his old age.
Reginald Martinez. I don't know about that. And I got to tell you, I'm going to digress for a second. I heard something funny today. So, one of our listeners, his name is Mike Krupa, and he's over in Rochester, New York. So he listens to us on WLVL. He had told me we were talking football. He goes, we're big sports fans over here, and Pittsburgh and Cleveland and Buffalo. And he said, you got to realize that O.J. Simpson is a really big hero around here. And of course, I chuckled and laughed, but at the same time, it is Buffalo, and that's where O.J. did his damage, right? I mean, on the field, that is.
Right.
Off the field, it was on the other coast. But it just kind of made me laugh that he said that. So there's a big shout out to one of our loyal listeners, Mike Krupa, over in the Rochester, New York area. Now, by the way, and I'll get into the hockey in the next segment, but I do want to say that I did go to the Golden Knights against the Buffalo Sabres last night, and I'll talk about it in the next segment, but I had to throw that out there. Go ahead.
So why don't we go ahead and we look at this. So, Buck, you need to verify the bet. Okay, the currency is Red Vines, and it is the payment will be the amount of games difference in World Series.
Okay, there it is.
We have a winner.
So if it's four games to none,
that's a 4-game. That's 4 bags of Red Vines.
That's a 4-bagger right there.
Yes, it's a 4-bagger. That's 2 very tired people. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm okay with that. If you're okay with that, are you in?
What do you mean I'm okay with that? I'm the one who initiated the whole bet.
All right, I'm consummating the deal. What do you do? All right. Exactly. All right.
Of course I'm in on that.
All right, good. Buck, you want in?
No, it's your guys' bet.
He
you
doesn't
go right
want
ahead.
in. He doesn't want
I
in.
still owe you pizza.
Yes! And you know what? Nobody called in for the
That's all
pizza yesterday, so that's good news.
Mm-hmm.
It's still my pizza.
Yep.
I like it. All right. So moving along,
Well,
we have a game going on right now. Isn't it 5-0?
It is 5-0. Look, let's be honest.
Score.
This series turned around as soon as somebody had a let's say he closed chamber meeting. How about a sidebar with the judge meeting? And this guy has responded incredibly for a rookie. He finally has woken up out of his comatistic slumber, and he's finally got his bat rolling. Today, yet another double, another RBI. As Judge goes, so do the Yankees.
So you're back on
And
the
then-
Aaron Judge bandwagon, is what you're saying.
I am going to elevate the American League.
Here it is.
In hopes
Here's
that they
the Judge
will go ahead
bandwagon.
and beat the National
Mercy.
League. That is what I'm doing.
Lenny, you got to
And
pick a
on top
side.
of-
You got to pick a side. Either you're on his bandwagon or you're off. 'Cause so far, you've been on, you've been off. Now you're back on again.
Okay, here it is. I am driving my allegiance through the biggest
30.
gap of teeth that you could fit you could fit a aircraft carrier through that thing. Okay,
This guy.
that is where I'm.
Is that the
driving my
best you got?
allegiance.
You keep saying the same one over and over. In the last 15 seconds, you got to give me something better because we're going to hockey next segment.
His teeth are bigger than Grandma's cookie jar. Okay, the gap between his teeth are bigger than the pyramid. It is bigger than the largest sequoia in the Sequoia National Forest. Okay, that is where Aaron Judge's teeth are.
Okay, folks, we're going to be back in just a few minutes on the Sports Circus. Don't go anywhere.
Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
Listen to Sports Flash every day on The Score. Up-to-date sports info as it happens. Sports Flash brought to you by New Male Medical, America's #1 men's wellness clinic. Reclaim your youth and vitality today. New Male Medical.
Okay, folks, we are back at the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, here with Long Beach Lenny and Colonel Bucky. This segment is brought to you by the American Business Trust Company, specializing in startup consulting, sales and marketing, corporate strategy, and investment capital. Visit them at abtrustco.com or call 657-600-1876 for all your business needs. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. And a big welcome to all of our listeners over on WLVL up in the greater Buffalo and Toronto market, as well as those from coast to coast over our NBC Sports affiliates, as well as iHeartRadio, Time Warner Cable over in the Hawaiian Islands, and KMZQ 670 The Score right here in Las Vegas, our SB Nation affiliates. How about a big round of applause for them? Okay, now, folks, we are joined today by a rock'em sock'em robot hockey player from yesteryear, and this is one of those guys that played when the game was the game. There were still rules, but maybe the rules were a little looser in interpretation. Not really sure, but anyway, we have former Toronto Maple Leaf right winger and defenseman Kurt Walker. How about a huge round of applause for him? Kurt, what's happening?
Very nice. Good evening. First of all, thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
It's great to talk to you, especially about hockey and old-time hockey, which is one of my favorites, I guess. Having been in that a little bit and enjoyed what it had to offer, it was fun back in the day, and it was fun for the fans as well.
And not everybody wore helmets when they played at that time.
You know, it was 1975, and pretty much, at least, you know, I played in Toronto. I was an American kid, and my dream was to play in Toronto. I always wanted to play there from the time I was 14, and there weren't a lot of Americans in the league back then. But I jumped in, very fortunate. And I think when you graduate and you take that last step at the time to the NHL, if you ever wore a helmet, you took it off. And when you turned pro, it was just one of those things, kind of you didn't wear it. And I never did. And most of the league didn't. I would say probably 75% of the league, no one wore helmets back then.
Right. I remember watching that on TV, and I'm like, wow, look at those guys. They're really fighting for real, and nobody's wearing helmets, and the gloves are dropping. Gotta like that.
You know, there were. It was. Let me say this: it was great for the fans. There was a lot of rivalries. You had Boston and Montreal, certainly Toronto, Buffalo. There were a lot of rivalries back then, and the fans knew who the enforcers were on the team, and they knew what to look for when the game started. So it was that whole big buildup of what was going to happen, or when the Leafs played the Flyers. We ended up taking them 7 games a couple of years in a row, and damn, they beat them. But people went to the game, and there were two things. When they left, and you listened to the people talk, they talked about not the goals that were scored at first. They talked about the fight.
Yes.
I mean, that's what they, that's what they talked about. Yes, they appreciated it. However, it was a time when people really enjoyed the game, and we gave them all we had. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's funny. Yesterday, I'm watching the Vegas Golden Knights, our new expansion team here, play the Buffalo Sabres. And the little kid next to me, his name was Cole. And he goes, so are they going to fight in this game? I said, well, Cole, it's a little different game than it was a long time ago. But I said, if the score maybe gets to a 3-goal lead late in the game, you may see a fight. Because they'll have the old, I won the battle, but not the war idea. Right? So so the visitors will give them something to think about when they play it in their building next time.
Sure, and if I'm not mistaken, the Knights beat them 5-4.
They did, and it was 4-1. But what happened was the Sabres pulled their goalie with they had a power play with about 4 minutes left. They pulled the goalie, so they had 2-man advantage. They scored on that one. They get another power play. They score on it. Then they pull the goalie late in the game with literally just a minute left. They score with 10 seconds left on the clock. All those goals scored were with a 1-man or 2-man advantage. And so other than that, I mean, Vegas beat them soundly.
Well, Vegas has a pretty good team from what I understand. I haven't studied it probably as I should. I've been busy doing some other things.
But Kurt, isn't your buddy the coach?
Actually, the coach is Gallant, and certainly I know who he is. I know we've met. He's not I wouldn't say a good friend, but we know each other for sure.
Geez, I thought you went bowling with him.
What's that?
I thought you went bowling with him.
I don't think we could do that. No,
I'm just
not
playing.
to my knowledge. But it's exciting for the hockey fans, and in particular out west, and a lot of the people in Vegas that have moved there from the east and transitioned and moved from places where hockey was really hot. And unfortunately, where I live, we've had 2 teams come in and leave, and I don't think there'll be another one. And that's just
you had the whale
Georgia.
Leave, right?
Atlanta.
You're down. Down there, right? The Thrashers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because there's a lot of people here that really love the game, and to have 2 major league franchises come in and leave,
right?
It was pretty disheartening for a lot of people.
Right, Flames and Thrashers both gone.
Yeah. And when the Flames left, if you remember,
they turn around in Calgary, then they win the cup.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, same thing happened to the Nords when they moved back to Denver. Right, they win the cup. It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. So it's sad that we don't have a major league, National Hockey League team here, but I get to travel a little bit, and I get to interact with a lot of players from yesteryear, if you will. So I still keep up with it. I'm still involved, and I love the game. I just think it's changed a little bit from the time that I played, and I think it could be maybe a little more exciting for the fans, but we'll see what happens this year.
All right, Lenny, go ahead. I know you had a question.
Well, you were talking You were talking here, Kurt, about it being more exciting for the fans. So my question to you is, how do you feel about the two-line pass rule going away? When you played, they necessarily didn't have this fluidity of the game that they have now. I just wanted your opinion as a defenseman and as a winger.
When I played, as you mentioned, we had the red line, and the whistles blew all the time, and there was always kind of a stoppage of play. And to your point, with the fluidity now, because we've taken the red line out of the game for guys that can motor, and let me say this, that in terms of speed and size, when I played, I was probably the top, 5 or probably the top 10 largest players, and I was 6'3". In the game now, I would just be an average player. So you've got guys that are big. I mean, they look like football players. And you put skates on them, and these guys can motor. So to take that red line out, I got to tell you don't want to get caught flat-footed as a defenseman because, you're going to end up like a turnstile. And it's without the rules, yes, it speeded up the game and it's made it exciting. And I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I think taking the red line out did a lot of good for the game. It really did. I know some guys don't like it, but it opened up the game more. It made it I don't want to say faster, because guys that played in my era in the 70s, they could play and they were just as fast as the guys today. They just didn't have an opportunity to showcase that. So it was a slower, the whistle all the time.
Right.
And if you remember, you could tie the puck up back then. You could go into the corner and tie it up, and the whistle would blow. Now, they aren't allowed to tie the puck up. The game continues. So it's made the game exciting, speed-wise. But those old, Maple Leaf, Flyer rivalries, people loved that.
Hey, Kurt.
They really did. They lived. Yeah.
Kurt, let me ask you. Actually, our producer, Colonel Bucky, wants to ask you a question about the trapezoid. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, by the way, if you just tuned in, we're speaking with Kurt Walker, 7-year veteran of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And when you talk about the trapezoid, the box that they're in there, what do you think about that rule?
I've looked at a lot of the rule changes, to be honest with you, and there aren't a lot that I would change, because what they're trying to do is make the game more attractive. Obviously, they want the fans. The NHL doesn't have the contracts like the NFL. They want to do everything they can to keep people into the game, coming to the game. They want to make fans of the game. As far as the trap goes, I never really thought about it, to be honest. I think most all of the rule changes have been for the betterment of the game. There aren't too many that I would really, disagree with, to be honest with you. Could I have played in today's game? I think a lot of the players from my era ask ourselves that, could we have played in the game the way it is today?
I got to tell you, I don't like the trapezoid, because I think back to me going to the old Chicago Stadium and watching Ed Belfour, skate back and forth, going out to lunch in the corners, trying to play every puck. And how many mistake goals have you seen? And that takes away one fun and interesting and exciting piece of the game. I mean, geez, it's almost like taking away the penalty shot now when you have the shootouts. Now, the penalty shot was the most exciting play of the game. And now, Kurt, what do we have? We've got a shootout, so we have a bunch of penalty shots. So it really waters down the value of that. Now, about 20 seconds here. So what I want to do, Kurt, is I want to get you to hold those thoughts when we get into the next and final segment, and you could tell me what your thoughts are about what I had just mentioned, because I really like the fact of no trapezoid. It just makes the game more exciting. But nonetheless, we're going to come back here in just a few minutes with Kurt Walker, 7-year right winger and bruising defenseman from the NHL, Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'll tell you what, folks, this guy threw a few punches in his career, too. We're going to be back here in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere.
Mayweather Promotions presents Sid City Showdown at Sam's Town Live, October 21st, featuring lightweight prospect Sharif Bulgari versus Jose Rodriguez, plus the co-main feature event between Las Vegas favorite Cameron Creel and Mexico's Shoki Sakai, plus Mayweather Promotions rising prospects in separate bouts. Get your tickets on samstownlb.com. Find out how you can receive a free ticket to Fight Night by visiting mayweatherpromotions.com/events. Doors open at 4:30 p.m.
Attention men and women between the ages of 18 and 65. If you suffer from excessive hair loss, thinning, or balding, write down this important phone number, 702-978-8008. The Doctors of Hair Clinic has medical experts to determine the cause of your hair loss and provide the best solution to help you restore your hair and confidence. Using state-of-the-art FDA-approved technologies, Doctors of Hair can regrow or restore your areas of hair loss, offering cool laser therapy, neograft hair transplant, and platelet-rich plasma. Doctors of Hair will find the right solution for you. No drugs, no linear scarring, no regrets. Call us today at 702-978-8008 and let the compassionate medical experts evaluate you with a free consultation. A natural head of hair is just a phone call away. Call Doctors of Hair, 702-978-8008. That's 702-978-8008. Or visit us online at doctorsofhair.com. Doctors of Hair, your and hair restoration.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away. Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal here with Long Beach Lenny and Colonel Bucky. Also special guest Kurt Walker from the NHL. Many years in the NHL, 7 years. Also played with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Big bruising, rock'em sock'em kind of guy. And folks, we're glad to have him. And make sure you follow us on social media. And you can follow the Sports Circus on Twitter as well as on Facebook. We have a page. Lenny's got a couple of pages too.
Yep, I got one on Facebook that is Lenny Adkins, Adkins, and then also on Twitter, it's just Long Beach Lenny with the number 4 at the end of it.
Okay, and a big welcome to all of our listeners on the NBC Sports affiliates from coast to coast, as well as iHeartRadio, SB Nation right here in Las Vegas, KMZQ 670 The Score, and Oceanic Time Warner Cable over in the Hawaiian Islands, listening in on KPHI 96.7 FM and 1130 AM. How about a big round of applause for them? There we go. We got to make sure we give everybody an applause. And, you know, Kurt, just another question or two, and I want to find out more about Dignity After Hockey, your organization. But let me ask you something else. Let me finish up real quick on the goalies going out to lunch in the corners. I got to tell you, that was my favorite part of the game. You know, and the one person that always comes to mind, actually two people come to mind. Ed Belfour was one of them because, you know, he went wandering on a regular basis.
That's right.
And I do remember Ron Hextall and the fights that Ron Hextall got into with the Flyers from, well, people basically shoving them when they weren't supposed to. You know, they got slashed or something fun and exciting like that. What are your thoughts on that?
You know,
back during my tenure when I was in the game, goalies, there was no trapezoid. In other words, they could pretty much do what they wanted to do. And there were times when somebody on the other team just decided that, you know what, I think I'll run the goalie. And when that happened, there was a bench emptying brawl 9 times out of 10. But since they've I guess the restricted area, if you will,
right,
is kind of what it is. And it slows down what the goalies, some of them, want to do. They can't do it anymore. They can't jump out and get behind the net and leave the crease, play the puck. I remember guys like Billy Smith from the Islanders.
Oh, right.
And, yeah, you can.
Did Billy swing an axe in the off season? Did he chop trees down?
I'll tell you what, he's a hell of a nice guy. I've never met him, but I have heard stories. He's a great guy, which doesn't surprise me. But I remember one game he and I were going at it. When we beat the Islanders in 7 games in 1978. I can remember, and I said to myself, I can't hit him. And he was getting ready to throw at me. We were toe-to-toe, and we had each other by the shirt. And I just kept saying, I can't hit a goalie. And well, he's a hell of a tough guy. He's a good guy, too. But, I think of guys like that used to roam. When I played, Mike Palmatier was the goalie. He'd jump out every now and then, and there were a number of goalies that made it exciting. And since this rule's come in, yeah, it could be a little disappointing. There's no question. I mean, to restrict the goalies in terms of what and where they can go does have an impact on the game, without question.
Okay. All right. So Lenny's got a question for you, too.
Yeah, I sure do. Now, I know that you had brought up recently, Kurt, you were talking about teams leaving certain states and kind of abandoning that area. Now, I'm a Kings fan, West Coast guy all my life in the city of Long Beach. Now, we had just the Kings at one point. Then we ended up having Gretzky coming our way. And look at what has come as a result, in my opinion, and I wanted yours. With Gretzky coming to the Kings, that has actually given birth to the Ducks, given birth to the Sharks, it's given birth to the Coyotes, and now, even down the road, it's now given birth to the Golden Knights. I wanted to ask you your opinion on the significance of Gretzky's value coming to the Kings and what he meant to the NHL.
That's a great question. It's a really, really good question, and I can address it because I know personally and firsthand. I played in Toronto, and I was traded to L.A. in 1978. And the Kings at that time, if you all remember, they kind of struggled. You had the California Golden Seals, if you remember, and then the L.A. Kings, but it really, really wasn't catching on. It just, for some reason, didn't catch on until Gretzky made his appearance in L.A., and things, without question, started to turn around. He brought a whole new perspective to the game when he ended up there. And, you started to see more youth hockey programs. It was like the whole West Coast just lit up and had been hit in the head and woke up with hockey on their brain. He did a hell of a lot to really, really, I want to say, jumpstart the game of hockey on the West Coast. And as you mentioned, the teams now, you have the Sharks, you have the Knights, you have the Kings. I mean, it's really, he did a hell of a job in that respect. He really, really did, and I would give him all the credit for almost single-handedly being able to do that.
So, Kurt, I'm gonna put you back in the time machine. We're gonna go back to 1970 something, and you told me a story about a week or two ago when you were playing at the old Chicago Stadium, and you were right there. It was before the game started. You were just on the ice. Why don't you tell that story real quick?
I always loved to play in Chicago. It was one of my favorite cities, and I grew up in a little town outside of Boston, and of course, the Big Bad Bruins, Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito, Jerry Cheevers, the whole gang, Johnny Busick. I grew up idolizing those guys, and when Bobby got traded to Chicago, I went in with the Leafs. We were going into play, and Bobby was playing that night. And this was going to be the first time that I had ever played against him. And, it was kind of strange. I had a real tough time believing that I was going to play with him. But anyway, we're in warm-ups in Chicago, and we're skating around, and for some reason I feel a tap on my shin pad. And I thought, oh, well, maybe it's Keith Magnuson or Phil Russell.
Keith Magnuson ready for another fight, right?
Yeah, get the thing going. And I looked, and it was Bobby Orr. And he just he looked at me and said, Kurt, welcome to the league. And I'll never forget that. I didn't know what to say. I mean, I was really taken aback by that. I mean, it really hit me like, my God, he knows who I am. And it was something that has stayed with me my entire life, and I have forgot a lot of things due to a number of concussions. But that's one thing I never forgot was the gentleman that I knew he was, even playing against him. He was just the classiest guy that ever played the game. And to be quite honest with you, I think he was the greatest. I know he was the greatest so far that's ever played, without a doubt.
That's kind of like getting that pat on the head in the Major League Baseball rookie game. You just happen to be playing against Joe DiMaggio, right?
Yeah.
And you get the same pat on the head. There you go, kid. You're going to be good. Yeah. Hey, you never forget it.
You don't forget it. And, confidence that can give.
Or by Pete Rose.
Any player. Yeah. I mean.
I knew you'd work it in.
It was bizarre. I'll never forget it to this day. And people ask me about that, and I tell that story, and it chokes me up a little bit to talk about it. It really does. He was an amazing player and has done so much for the community outside of Boston. The gentleman that he is, what he does for people with cancer, and he's just they don't make him like him anymore. They really don't.
Just wanted to jump in here. We're speaking with Kurt Walker, 7-year veteran of the NHL and Toronto Maple Leafs. And I just wanted to ask you, Kurt, who's the Pete Rose of the NHL?
Oh, boy.
Now, is this the gambling side, Pete Rose? The cheating side?
Are you
the hustling.
We're talking about today?
Yeah.
No. All time.
All time.
Oh, wow. I remember a couple of guys that remind me a little bit of Pete Rose. They always seem to shine, excuse me, when it was the race for the Stanley Cup. And I remember, Eddie Johnstone, he was a center. I don't know if you remember him, with the New York Rangers.
I don't.
And he was a pesky little guy, but I'll tell you what, he really was an unbelievable motivator and hustler for he was only like 5'7".
That was
5'8".
that early 80s Islanders back-to-back team, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. And I remember a guy that was reminded me of Pete Rose was Bobby Sheehan, who they had a matchup. They were playing the Flyers, and it was Bobby Sheehan was known as the Cat. And Philadelphia had Kenny Linsman, and he was known as the Rat. And this is a true story. Well, you had the series, the Rangers and the Flyers, and it was the Cat and the Rat. And Sheehan's job was to stay and cover Kenny Linsman. So it was a series that I'll never forget. You guys may not remember it, but Bobby Sheehan was like that too. He was from my hometown, as a matter of fact. One of the first Americans, and I think he's the first American on the Stanley Cup.
First American to be on the Cup. Hey, listen, Kurt. So we want to keep you on for one more segment. If you have the time, it's up to you. Tell me if you have the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Because I want to talk more about your history. I want to find out who the best fight you had was, and who was the longest fight and the most gruesome fight. But also, I want to find out about. We want to tell the listeners all about Dignity After Hockey as well. I think everybody needs to know a lot more about what you do and how you're helping the players from yesteryear as well as even the current players, because you have a lot to say and a lot to offer.
More than happy. Thank you. More than happy to stay on. Absolutely.
Okay, folks, we're going to be back here in just a few minutes with Kurt Walker, a great guy, rock'em sock'em robot kind of guy from the NHL, right-winger, defenseman, Toronto Maple Leafs, and such. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in just a few minutes.
Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
Listen, you're broke, so there's no reason to overpay for bankruptcy. At Half Price Lawyers, our experienced bankruptcy lawyers have helped people just like you get a fresh start. We'll discuss your options, prepare the paperwork, and we go to court with you. We're honestly just a good deal because we charge less, and nobody can promise you a better result. Our low price guarantee and the consultation is free. $100 down and the friendliest payments in town. Call Half Price Lawyers today for your bankruptcy at 400-0000. Half Price Lawyers. Call 400-0000.
Personal injury fees excluded.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, here with Long Beach Lenny, Colonel Bucky, and 7-year veteran from the NHL, right winger and defenseman I was going to say Kurt Warner. No, it's not Kurt Warner. It's Kurt Walker. Kurt Walker. Unless, Kurt, are you a quarterback as well?
No.
Not even on the power play?
You know, I did play on the power play, believe it or not. And back in the day, all they wanted me to do was stand in front of the net and cause havoc. That was it.
That's because you're a big guy. You're a big guy. Okay, so
yeah, exactly.
So all right, so you did mention in the last segment something about fights. All right, we talked about you almost had a fight with Billy Smith, which that would have been interesting. But what's the most gruesome, memorable fight that you've had?
You know, funny. Somebody asked me that today, and believe it or not, coming up through the ranks and certainly the NHL, I mean, basically I did fight my way into the league. I was never drafted. I was a walk-on, if you will, I guess.
Or a punch-in.
Yeah. I mean, they were going to amputate my leg at the age of 18, and I was never supposed to skate again. So that was a real setback. But I broke through it, and I'll tell you what, during my tenure there, of course, every team had their own tough guys and enforcers. The Flyers had a lot, but so did the Bruins. The Bruins had Terry O'Reilly, John Wensink, Stan Jonathan, and Wayne Cashman. I mean, you can go on and on. And I think probably one of the better fights was I had to go back to Boston to play the Bruins. All my family and friends are in Boston Garden. I knew, as an enforcer, it's a tough job to have, trust me. And I knew I was going to fight that night. And I never talked to anybody really about, 24 hours before a game, I became silent and went to a shell. So I knew I'd fight that night, and I said, my God, whoever I fight, if I lose, I'll never be able to come home.
Right, that's in your hometown.
It was, and everybody was there. So I wasn't sure who it was going to be. Well, anyway, I ended up that night fighting Stan Jonathan, who 2 weeks prior had pretty much ended the career of Pierre Bouchard, if you remember that ugly fight that happened.
Yes.
It was absolutely awful. Well, I ended up with him. And he didn't know. He didn't know that I was left-handed, and being a left-handed fighter on the ice in any sport, if you're boxing, but it has its advantages, and it certainly did for me that night. And that was one great toe-to-toe battle that we had, and I would say that I won.
Did you lose any teeth?
Jonathan had not lost too many. So I knew I could go home that summer. I wasn't worried. But there were many. I mean, I remember bench emptying brawls I started in Detroit at the old Olympia.
How many teeth did you knock out?
What's that?
How many teeth did you knock out? Not you got knocked out, but how many did you knock out of your opponents?
You know what? Honestly, I don't know. You go into kind of a...
That would have been the belt notch for me.
You go into a zone when you have this job. It really is a difficult job to have because it's not... A lot of times, they didn't have me there for my hockey ability. They had me there to sit on the bench, and when things got tough, I got the tap on the shoulder. Well, I wasn't caught up in the heat of the game. I wasn't sweaty. I just had to come off cold and all of a sudden flip the light switch and go berserk. It's difficult to do that, extremely difficult. I like to play. I like to be caught up in the game a few shifts, feel like I'm part of it. But to come off the bench cold like that, it was miserable. It really was. In terms of teeth, I have no idea. I was in the zone all by myself. I did some foolish things. I did some things I regret, and I've told my wife that. And I could tell you another story, but it would take too long, and I wanted to talk about dignity a little bit.
Kurt, it would have been serving if they just had you on a bike in the locker room with a heavy bag and a speed bag. This way you're warmed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Hey, Kurt.
Yeah.
Kurt, I had a quick question for you. Since we're going to be getting close in 2018 to the Winter Olympics, and hockey is huge in the Winter Olympics, I wanted to ask you, in your own opinion, what would have been value to you, winning a Stanley Cup, or a gold medal representing your country? You have one or the other.
To be honest with you, I'm a very, patriotic American kid. And as much as everything I ever put into the game to win the Stanley Cup would have been one wonderful honor, it also would have been amazing to win a gold medal for your country and be part of that team. And I know guys that played. Believe me, I have friends that played on the 80 Olympic team, and unfortunately back then I couldn't try out. Not that I would have made it. I couldn't try out because, if you remember, professionals weren't allowed to try out. So what would I have picked? Well, there's no greater honor than winning a gold medal for your country, and I think probably I would have leaned that way. Stanley Cup would have been wonderful, but to win a gold medal for my country would have been probably more, I'd say more of an honor for me personally. That's how I feel.
So, Kurt, let me ask you this. That's a fantastic answer. We've got about 4 minutes or so for this segment. What I want to do is I want to learn more about, I want everybody in our listening audience from coast to coast on our NBC Sports affiliates and all the others and iHeart to hear about Dignity After Hockey. Tell everybody about the organization, what you do, what your goals are.
Thank you for asking me. I really appreciate that question. Out of the game, quite honestly, we have an NHL alumni, but there were some issues in terms of none of us had health care that we could pay into. There was no plan for us to pay into. And I kept in touch with a lot of the players I played with and against, and that was the biggest gripe. I thought, you know what, there really is no dignity after hockey. And I really struggled with this, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and see what I can do. I love to give back. That's where my heart is. I never forgot where I came from. So I started Dignity After Hockey as a Facebook page. And then I was contacted. It started to build. It just kind of gained momentum. And I was contacted by Paul Cookson, a friend of mine out of Toronto, who has Ad Army, a company up there, and he said, I'll do a website for you. And he did. And he did the website, and it really started to gain more momentum. And I was able, for the first time in 90 years, to get the guys health care through another partner of mine. Ben Galloway runs an organization out of Detroit. It's the Society for Professional Athletes. So once I got the guys health care for the first time in 90-odd years, I figured, what else can I do? What else can I do to help the guys? Because I really want to give back. And I was contacted by Mike Ditka's group, the Gridiron Greats, and they wanted to know if I was interested in sharing resources. And I said, of course. And that's where I learned about Premier Regenerative Stem Cell, what they do. I flew out and I met with Candace Stoles, who's the president. Of course, you guys know Don Horn.
Right. And I met Candace a couple of weeks ago, right?
Did you? Yeah. Great person. Don Horn at the time, and now he handles the NFL players that want to go through the program. And really what it does is guys that, believe it or not, there's guys from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, great players that don't have a lot of money, and they don't want invasive surgery. And with the medical technology we have today, these guys have a chance to go to Denver and or Scottsdale and have stem cell procedures as opposed to invasive surgery. And all they have to do is get to Denver, which some of them have a hard time. So what Dignity After Hockey does now, what I do, it's a nonprofit 501c3 charity, and I make sure guys that are hurting, that live in chronic pain, that want to try stem cell, get to Denver or Scottsdale to have the procedure, and the results have been overwhelming. Post-procedure, it's been amazing how the guys feel. I have a player that has Lou Gehrig's disease, believe it or not. 3 of them have Parkinson's, severe Parkinson's. 2 of them had strokes. Others have awful joint pain. So my very first year, I put 15 players through, and I was very proud of that. And this year, I'd like to double that if I can, but I'm not. I have funded it out of my pocket at some point. And, you know, I really need to start talking to companies about their philanthropic side and try and find companies and corporations that would like to help us on a donation side of things to help offset the cost of the stem cell and allow the guys to get airfare and hotel so that they can have these procedures. And it's been very, very humbling. And I'm very grateful.
Well, Kurt, in saying that, we're coming up to the last minute here. Why don't you let the people know how they can find your organization online and maybe a phone number?
All you have to do is go to dignityafterhockey.com or .ca if you're in Canada. And there is a donate page. You can email me, or they can call 770-480-7237. Or my email is Kurt Leaf, L-E-A-F, 2, 6, @gmail.com.
Kurt, repeat that telephone number, if you will.
Sure. It's 770-480-7237. And I get back to everybody that called, or calls, if you will. And if I don't get back right away, it's just because I'm a little busy, but I do. I return every call. I talk to everybody personally, and things are really going in the right direction, and I really want to keep the momentum going. So, it's wonderful.
Good. Well, you know what, Kurt? We ran out of time here. Thank you so much for being on the Sports Circus. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be coming back with hour number 2 in a moment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hi.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 60 years. We are locally owned and operated by the Stevens family. We not only clean carpet and furniture, we clean many loose rugs, including Oriental rugs. Oriental rugs are cleaned in our modern facility where the fringes are cleaned by hand, then hung in our modern facility to dry. We do not use steam cleaning to clean your fine furniture. Furniture is cleaned by hand using the same absorption cleaning used in the White House. Some furniture we bring into our plant to clean properly. We normally use 2 men on each cleaning job using the extraction method. There is nothing that would clean carpet better for our customers. Our job is to clean properly with quality first. Google Carpet Masters San Bernardino and give us a call, or go to carpetmasterssocal.com.
It's time for Trump or Treat.
And I think we're going to make it big league. Big league. Big league.
No Trump or treats?
Yeah, Trump or Treat.
No, it's not that scary.
Big league.
It's Trunk or Treats at the Tri-City Shopping Center in front of the KCAA Media Center. And next to Halloween City at the 210 and 10 freeways in Redlands. Sunday, October 29th from 3 to 8 p.m. Lots of games, fun, hundreds of classic cars, trunks loaded full of candy and treats for the kids and the not-so-young kids, too. Aha! All safe, fun, live bands, DJs, and live broadcasts. Did you say live?
Trump?
No Trump or treat. It's Trunk or Treat. For more info, go to KCAA.com. Sunday, October 29th. Boo here or boo square.
And I think we're going to make it big league.
This is Pastor Greg from Chosen Generation Radio Show, heard right here on KCAA, 1 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Do any of these sound familiar? Not sleeping well, waking up tired, drinking more coffee than usual, can't stay focused, craving sugary drinks and snacks, feel like you're stuck on a treadmill, having trouble managing your weight, not sick but not firing on all cylinders? Any one of these could mean that you might have a system overload, and Thyrodrenal might just be right for you. Think about it. You've probably been feeling like this for a while. Life has a way of wearing you down, and if you aren't getting the right nutrients, then physical and emotional wear and tear will take its toll. Most of us at some time or another could use some nutritional support for our adrenal and thyroid glands to bring things back in balance. Our bodies respond well to optimal nutrition to keep daily energy levels up and stress levels down. Try Thyrodrenal from Michael's Naturopathic Programs, a nourishing support formula with vitamins, minerals, and herbs to put back what life takes out. Look for Michael's on the label. We're serious about good health. Thyrodrenal is available at leading health food stores nationwide. If you don't see it on the shelf, then ask for it by name. Thyrodrenal.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS? Can't afford to pay? You're not alone. The slow economy has backed many Americans into a financial corner. Here's fantastic news. The Internal Revenue Service is now accepting reduced settlements from taxpayers in trouble. A government program is in place to relieve overburdened taxpayers. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative, and if you qualify, you can end all collections, settle your tax issue, and possibly reduce the amount you owe by thousands of dollars. A new taxpayer emergency helpline has been set up by Tax Mediation Services. Call the helpline now at 877-207-2077. See if you qualify to have all collections ended and to have your tax problems resolved for thousands less. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS that you cannot afford to pay, call now to see if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative. 877-207-2077. 877-207-2077. 877-207-2077.
Do you want exposure for your business or organization? Check out Digital Network Advertising. Digital Network Advertising is where businesses display your ad inside their building. You can choose your marketing sites or jump on the DNA system and advertise with all participants. Your slide holds the virtual billboard for 14 seconds and is displayed 3 times an hour. It's a novel way to be seen, be discovered, and to be remembered. Digital Network Advertising with networks in Redlands and Yucaipa. Call 909-222-9293 for introductory pricing. That's 909-222-9293. Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at kcaaradio.com.
All Business Media presents the Professionals Roundtable. Hear what's hot in the professional world. Timely topics to propel your career to the next level. Professionals Roundtable with Rick Delgado. Exclusively on All Business Media.
And welcome to All Business Media, where it is all business all the time. And I am your host, Rick Delgado. And again, we're welcoming back a special guest, a very lovely lady based out of Beverly Hills, California. She is the founder and clinical hypnotherapist for Let It Go Hypnosis. You can actually go to the website by the same name, letitgohypnosis.com, or you can reach out to her, 323-999-4775. How about a nice round of applause for our guest, the lovely Barbara Scheidegger. Barbara, welcome to the show, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, well, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. Now, before we get started, as I like to do all the time, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and exactly what you do.
I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I help people to remove their mind blocks and help them to move forward to get what they want in a very healthy, organic way. Hypnosis. And that's what I'm doing. It is therapy. I'm not doing just hypnosis. And that's the big difference that the misconception that people have. Hypnosis is used for show business. Hypnotherapy is used for therapy.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm helping people just to put themselves in the right place in order to move forward for where they want to go, what's their desire, their goal, the obstacle to overcome of the constant maybe blaming others for their misfortune, being in a bad relationship, and once they get out of that relationship, they go with the same pattern and going almost the same relationship again, just with a different person. So when you're interested, I'm telling you, hypnotherapy helps you to move forward and realizing what pattern you have. And it would be good just to call me, actually, and I give you 30 minutes free consultation, and then we move on from that. But that would be already the first step.
Right. And again, usually that first step is the most important, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's very important. It's hypnotherapy is just mysterious. People are not familiar with it. And even though, look how lucky I am living now and not 200 years before, because people like me would have been burned alive in a haystack,
Yeah, that's true. Because, let's face it, times change and things evolve and slowly. And it's funny because, you mentioned hypnosis and exactly what you do. And if anybody, is just tuning in right now and missed it, Barbara, she's a clinical hypnotherapist. There's a big difference between that, what you do, clinical hypnotherapy, and the stuff that you might see out at maybe a comedy club or the great Kreskin will mesmerize. He'll make you laugh and he'll do all these crazy things. He'll make you do crazy things. But that's not what this is.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you a story about a colleague of mine. I'm not sure if he does it still, but he did show hypnosis. And he said to me, every time when he had his show, he had a security guard who was there. And the security guard said always, I forgot the security guard's name, but we call him Waldo.
Okay.
That Waldo actually wanted always to be on stage, but unfortunately he had to work on that day always. So finally the day came, he was off on that day, and he sat in the spectator seat. He was watching, doing him hypnosis, and then my colleague called him up and said, Waldo, over. And Waldo had his girlfriend next to him, and he said first no. And he said, Waldo, come on, you want to go for years, it's a long time. Now finally the time came.
Right.
Okay, Waldo went up, but he didn't feel good about it. And my colleague was trying to put, he had about 5-6 people up there. They all went into hypnosis because that's what they wanted, but Waldo would not go in.
Right.
There's nothing he was able to do. And he said, Waldo, come on, go and do something. You're on stage. And he would not. So he sent him back to the audience, and he sat down next to his girlfriend again. And after the show, my colleague went out and said, what did you do, Waldo? I mean, this was your dream. He said, yes, but I was with my girlfriend and didn't want to make a fool out of myself in front of her.
Right.
So he would not go into hypnosis. Nobody can do it without your permission, I would say. It is you allow the hypnotherapist to guide you through in that comfort state of hypnosis. It's relaxation. It's deep relaxation.
Right.
That's what we're doing. And that's what people need to make a change.
And again, that's the big difference. I mean, and it's something to, again, it's something that you pointed out. And whether it's on stage or clinically, you can't, be subject to being hypnotized unless you want to. You have to be open to it, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So, people think a person is asleep during hypnosis. And I have to say, during hypnosis, you're totally awake, but your eyes are closed. So I had the other day a client, he said, but I speak. He said, yes, it's just hypnosis. Hypno means in Greek, sleep, and it comes from there.
Right.
But we maybe would change it now into saying just deep relaxation. Allow yourself to go into deep relaxation.
Right.
That's what we need. Body and mind becomes one.
Right, and now when you're working with people, and of course, again, they can reach out to you and get the free 30-minute consultation, so you can kind of give them a little insight as to what to expect, and also find out from them, what it is they want to work on, because this is something that helps, change your life, establish new habits. And, you have to be open to it, though, as Barbara was saying. Now let me ask you this, because you do have an approach that's different, because it's your own approach. It's called the Scheidegger approach. Can you explain that for us?
I developed that for myself. Actually, because people go to therapy if it's anything. It takes long. They go to see a psychologist, and that's just what it is. But it can take months or even years to get out of that. I don't know, that belief system that people are holding on like it's theirs. And through just talking about it does not release the emotion.
Right.
So in my 21-day program of 21 days through the Scheidegger approach, I help you coming up to that platform that you can release all the old habits, the old beliefs that stuck within, and it's a transformation. But what I need from my clients, I need their the willingness, acceptance, standing up to themselves and says, yes, I'm going to do through this program for 21 days. I'm willing to make a change, and that's what we need. And the 21 days, it includes repetition.
Right.
Repetition, that your mind, after 21 days, and your unconscious mind are in sync and say, yes, this is now the automatic response that we thinking positive. Today I'm moving forward. I don't blame anybody else for my fortune anymore, because you are responsible for yourself. Your problem is very important. It is your problem.
Right.
And that's what I'm working on. And don't be afraid to come in, that you come in sleeplessness, that you can't sleep in the night and you walk out as a smoker. That's not going to happen. You're just going to get what you want.
Right, and that's the thing that people should understand about what you do in clinical hypnotherapy. It's to help you change some of the things that hey, you've been wanting to do. Maybe you just never got around to it. You don't know how to do it. You've got some blocks that are keeping you from maybe achieving some of the things you want to achieve. And with the Scheidegger approach, Barbara developed this for a 21-day approach. Now, what happens during those 21 days?
Well, at 21 days, you reach the platform that your mind has shifted, and you have your new beliefs, your new identity. And from that point on, you move forward, and you have the courage and the willingness just to get your new life in your hands, and you move on. That doesn't mean that you never come back and see me.
Right.
Sometimes something triggers, something new comes up. You just call me. We get I call it a tune-up session.
Yeah, it's almost like your mental car.
Yeah, exactly. You take, it's always amazing. People take so well care of their cars. The red light goes on, need a service,
Right.
tires. But for themselves, when the emotion comes up and it's negative, they don't pay attention on that. They ignore it. And through that, your physical body will react to it too.
Right.
You get headaches, you can't move anymore, you can't digest, you run to the doctor, you get a pill, but the core of the problem is not resolved. You're just putting yourself in a situation to take chemicals in your body, and then there's another reaction to it. And I'm not saying that I'm not against medicine. When you break something, a bone, you have an injury, you go to the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
But you're involved then in the healing process. Instead of swallowing those painkillers, you better start thinking positive and say, I'm healing, my body is healing. You're in charge of that. You're in control of that. And what people have to understand that we are in control of our thoughts. And we have to learn how to adjust them in a positive way. And
Yeah, because it's a very powerful thing, and negative thoughts can kind of affect you adversely as well, negatively. Hey, let me ask you this, Barbara. During the 21 days, how many times are they? If somebody say I were to say I'm going to step up and do the 21-day Scheidegger approach with you, do I see you every other day? Is it once a week? I mean, how does the whole what is expected, especially because it is going to be a life-changing thing.
Absolutely. I would expect you to see 4 times.
Okay.
Face to face. That's not so bad.
No, that's not so bad. Now, what about other stuff? Because, I mean, that's going to last for how long? What are those, 1-hour sessions?
The first session is 2 hours.
Okay.
The second is 1 hour to 90 minutes, depending what's going on. What's included, actually, what I teach people also, breathing. Breathing is very important. We look at the way people breathe. Breathing is a relaxing way that we can let go. We breathe all day long, and people say, why should I learn how to breathe? Because we are not breathing consciously.
Right.
And in the morning, try that. Get up, and for 5 minutes, you really breathe consciously and let the air out. Your day looks already much better. And then we look also at the nutrition. Nutrition can poison us, our thoughts too. What you eat and how you're affected by certain foods. That's very important too.
Right.
It's a whole combination. How much you sleep, it's very important because people need to sleep so the body can recover. And also, what is your way of exercising? So we are going in and look at your life and what can be changed. How can we make it so you can make that change on your own? You have to understand that I'm not helping you with hypnotherapy. I'm helping you in hypnotherapy. And therapy is the word.
Right.
You're in therapy, and you're in that state of deep relaxation. I'm not doing the work. I'm giving you suggestions. I inform you, and how you receive that information and how you process information is up to you. So you're doing the work. And that's also the reason why my 21 Scheidegger approach requires, and I have to bring that up, I require that you do homework.
Homework. I'm not in school.
Here we are.
I'm not in school anymore, Barbara.
Not so bad. So after the first session, I need to know how you feel, how you slept, and based on that, I give you work to do. So especially before you go to sleep, 30 minutes before you go to sleep, you have to write down your thoughts. I will give you a specific that you have to work on. So in the first of all, handwriting is an ideomotor response. It means it comes from the unconscious mind. You don't think anymore when you write.
Okay.
You just know how to write. So when you write down what you want, what you choose, what you wish for, it comes from the unconscious mind and gets to the unconscious mind. And in the night, you process that and you recheck the old habits and you install. It sounds like a computer. The new habits. So that's when the change started. On your shift, you should a positive way. And the understanding it's not an overnight fix. You are involved in it.
Right.
With any skills you learn, you have to practice, and it's practice.
Right. And like you said, it's not an overnight fix. It's something that you've developed that can be done in 21 days, which to some people might sound like a lot, but when you're talking about, changing a bad habit or developing a new pattern, that's not a long time. And it just takes and it takes that daily repetition, right? To just kind of keep moving in that positive direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And but look, that's what we're doing also with our daily life. But we tend to think negative, and that's the negative way of going into your life. Blaming others, that's so easy. Blaming your father, your mother for your unfortunate. Yes, I understand that you grew up with them and they were there, but today you realize it's not it wasn't good for you. You need to make that change. And you just have to please yourself and not them anymore, because you're the one who wants to be happy. And that's the very important part in your life.
Right.
You are the one who wants to be happy. So get it in your head right now and place yourself in that state of moving forward and focusing on how much you want that and how good it is for you. Focus only on the goal right now, how you want to be, and not on the process. And we are very adaptable people. Actually, there is only virus and bacteria, but we're the only creatures besides them in the world that can adapt to temperature, food, cold, warm, environment change, and we adapt and we have the ability to do that and move forward. So we can do that also with our thoughts and your emotions. So when you are now, is your problem now, you hate your job, you never want to, you just don't want to work there anymore, but you don't have the courage to move on, or simply you have pain, chronic pain. Nobody can figure out chronic pain.
Right.
It's a blockage in your body. Something is stuck there. Why waiting till tomorrow? Make the change now with hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
It's a phone call away.
Exactly.
Anything. There is no side effect. There are no proven side effect at all. They tried very hard. It's not.
They've tried to find side effects, but they can't, huh?
Yeah, but it has been accepted now also by the Medical Association. I think in 1955 or 1956 by the American Medical Association that hypnotherapy is helpful.
Right.
It's okay.
And again, you can reach out to Barbara and find out more about the Scheidegger approach. Just give her a call, 323-999-4775. Again, we've been talking to our guest, Barbara Scheidegger. She's the founder and clinical hypnotherapist for Let It Go Hypnosis. LetItGoHypnosis.com is the website. You can also punch that in. Say if you're in front of your computer right now and you're on Facebook when you really should be working. Just punch in Let It Go Hypnosis and it'll come right up. You can click on that. You can like her page as well. You can also get her phone number there because it's featured there as well. 323-999-4775. Based out of Beverly Hills, California. LetItGoHypnosis.com. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, more with our guest, Barbara Scheidegger, after these words.
All Business Media presents the Professionals Roundtable. Hear what's hot in the professional world. Timely topics to propel your career to the next level. Professionals Roundtable with Rick Delgado. Exclusively on All Business Media.
And welcome back to All Business Media, where it is all business all the time. And I'm your host, Rick Delgado. And again, we're sitting with our guest, Barbara Scheidegger, the founder and clinical hypnotherapist for Let It Go Hypnosis, based out of Beverly Hills, California. Go to the website, letitgohypnosis.com, to find out more, or better yet, give her a call, 323-999-4775. Again, a nice round of applause for our guest, Barbara Scheidegger. Barbara, again, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And, we're talking about, of course, what you do as the clinical hypnotherapist, and all the things that, of course, you can help people with. I mean, the list must go on and on. Do you find it surprising sometimes when people walk through your door and be like, I need help with this? Is there anything that kind of catches you off guard when they walk in?
No. I listen when people just come in, and most of the time when they come in, it's not the real problem. We figure that out later on. It's just a feeling, an emotion they had. And let me tell you about how I got into it. I did not. I never thought about hypnotherapy before.
Right.
I realized because I went through hard times in my life. So I was in the corporate business. There was a lot of up and down, and you always deal with it. And said, "Oh, it's just what it is," and you deal with it. It brings stress and anxiety. And at the end, when I felt like this is not for me anymore, it doesn't bring me. I need to change something in my life too.
Right.
I got a card from somebody about a hypnotherapist, and I put it in my wallet. And I went first to the doctor. He gave me all those antidepressive medicine, which did not help. I took one, and that was it. I knew this for me, so I went back. He told me about the psychologist, go to the psychologist. I went there, and somehow we always talked. We talked, but there was no change within me. I still felt that something has to happen. I'm not in a good state of my life. I'm fearful to move forward. And in the meantime, I changed wallets. I moved and took another wallet. And talk about faith now. Once I really hit rock bottom, that card fell out of my wallet. It's really interesting.
Right.
So I said, you know what, I called this hypnotherapist. Who knows? I'm really down. I went through my up and downs and had, I'm also a mother. I was married. I had all these new things going on in my life. I had to learn how to deal with that. And through hypnotherapy, it changed my life. I went into the first session with I really don't care anymore. I just need help. Whatever I come out, I don't care. I might bark like a dog. Who cares?
Right.
That's just going on. But that first session made such a big difference in my life. Yes, I had to go on multiple times. It wasn't an overnight fix. I needed time to release all the anxiety, the fear, and become myself and my new identity of me.
Right.
And I found it, and the way I just decided now, after all this drama, I was able to let go. I was in a state of, I need to help people too. It's so relaxing, it's so safe. There is no danger with it. There is no side effect, no chemical reaction. The only thing I sometimes had after sessions, I need a nap because my body had to reset.
Right.
And that's the way I got in. And that's, I think, all the time I spent to go to a psychologist or taking medicine or thinking about being helped, I waited too long. Why waiting that long when you can get help now, which is safe? It's a natural way of being, and you will be taught how to move on in your life even with self-hypnosis so you can relax when you're in a state of fear or anxiety.
Right. Now let me ask you this about the self-hypnosis part, because that kind of strikes me as a little odd. It's like, so what am I going to sit there and hypnotize myself? How do I know? How do I get out of it? Is it safe? Should I be be at home when I do something like this? I mean, what's the basis for using hypnosis on yourself?
It is like always. First, the base is repetition. You have to learn how to do it. I will give you a tape that's specifically for you. So in the beginning, you learn at home. When you're home, you come back from work, or before you go to work, you listen until you can do it on your own, wherever you are. If you're in the office and you have 5-10 minutes on your chair, you can bring yourself into that state of deep relaxation and let go your anxiety or your fear, your stress. You come out completely relaxed, like almost you had a massage or just something that made you calm and relaxed, beautiful, like you were at the beach or something, depending what you're looking for and how you want to feel. But you'll feel much more relaxed and centered on that. I call it always, it's the neutral level where you can make the decision.
Right.
It's a learning process also, but you get there and you can do it on your own, and it's very easy. You always come out. You never get stuck in hypnosis. It's not just the rest of your life. You're walking out around it. There is no way.
Right.
You're coming out. Even in self-hypnosis, either you can count yourself out, or your body will just tell you the message, we're done, we're relaxed, let's go and move on. And it's so easy. So I say always to people, why wait so long? You have that problem that you're holding on. Bring it up to the surface. Come in. Bring it up to the surface. We look at it.
Right.
And we release it. And we replace it with what you're asking for.
Right. Now, when you are working with somebody, is that part of the Scheidegger approach? Do you use do you teach people to do self-hypnosis as part of the 21-day approach?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. That's in my program. The self-hypnosis, the breathing, the accepting for who you are, getting rid of all this tension which is within you, and taking a positive attitude towards life. Basically that people stop poisoning their lives. We detox. People detox the body constantly, but we detox the mind.
Right.
And breathe.
Now, let me ask you this, Barbara, because, again, and we're talking again to Barbara Scheidegger. She is the founder and clinical hypnotherapist for Let It Go Hypnosis out of Beverly Hills, California. Give her a call at 323-999-4775, or better yet, go to the website, letitgohypnosis.com, and see how she can, take her talent and help you with what you need help with. Because, let's face it, a lot of people have things, and like you said, when they first start working with you, a lot of times the thing that they want to change turns out to be really not what the problem was, right?
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the things that you can help people with? Like, give me a for instance. Is it something about self-confidence? You did mention pain. What about like drinking or drugs and stuff like that?
It's phobia, self-confidence.
Okay.
It's feeling better, relationship. Yeah, you're in a bad relationship. You're worried to get out because you're scared of letting go that person. It's it's anxiety, stress, fear. You're fearful of flying. I would say with anything.
Yeah, sounds like pretty much anything there, Barbara.
Yeah, it's what it is. And if I see, sometimes we need the medical help. We need something else. I will send them to the doctor and say, look, this is not in my scope.
Right.
There you need to see a doctor. But emotional problems, I can help, no matter what that is.
Right. And a lot of times, too, and you mentioned one as well, was relationships. I'm sure people come to you all the time like, oh, how do I deal with this? And because let's face it, whether it's at work or personal, there's always relationships. There's always relationship issues. There's always relationship stress and anxiety, right?
Yes. A relationship is a big problem for many people, and it's not only with husbands and wives. It's always also with bosses, with your mother, with your children,
right.
Your relationship with the society. It's endless. But the most important thing that we teach people in relationship problems first, fix the relationship with yourself. It's very important that you're stable with your own relationship to yourself. Criticizing your body constantly, looking for a wrinkle, feeling not well because you think your hair is too short or too long.
Right.
You tried everything. Then you really, if you're so unhappy with that, you have a problem inside with your own relationship. You have to learn to love yourself, accept yourself for who you are, and then also you find the right person in your life. And with relationship, I hear always, but, well, they should give me, and he should give me, and I should expect that. Lower your expectations,
right.
And learn to give too.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that affects it. Probably it just affects everybody. When it comes right down to it, and we're talking about relationships. There's things that, like you said, there's things that kind of, there's blocks, things that keep you from doing things, keep you from, maybe breaking away from that relationship that is not working, but you're afraid to, right?
So, that reminds me of in that relationship situation that you come to the point, and it reminds me of the song with Ray Charles, Hit the Road Jack. And you can sing that and mean it, you're good.
Right, but you have to be able to mean it and stick with it. It's like one of those people that, this relationship isn't working, and they break up, but 2 days later they're back together again. Then a week later they break up, then they're back together. That kind of back and forth because they won't let it go. For some reason they just keep clinging on to something that's just not working.
That's right, because that's the only way they know. Going through hypnotherapy, you learn how to be neutral and look forward to the new. What can you do with the new, and how is this going to change your life? What emotions does it bring you when you see that releasing that person, that anger or that frustration, that fear? You in hypnotherapy, you see that, you bring that emotion up. You can see yourself going forward, and so without this baggage on you.
Right. Yeah.
How does it feel? It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm always, when I see how it works, oh my God, it works.
Yeah, and that baggage can really just affects you in a negative way. And once you get going in that negative direction, it's tough to break out of it.
Yeah, it is really taking control. Break your pattern of negative and disturbing impressions. The ones that irritate you. It's not only that, it affects your physical body too and brings sickness. So we have to cleanse that out, detox your mind.
Right.
It's a detox.
Yeah, and like you said, kind of go in for a tune-up every once in a while. As soon as you think, okay, you know what, there's some extra stress here. I feel like I'm going backwards a little bit as well. But it's definitely important to make sure you break those bad habits and establish new patterns that'll take you in the positive direction that you want your life to go. And again, the person to help you to do that is Barbara Scheidegger. She is the founder and clinical hypnotherapist for Let It Go Hypnosis, based out of Beverly Hills, California. Again, reach her by phone at 323-999-4775. She can do a free 30-minute consultation to kind of get a feel for you. You can get a feel for her, see if there's going to be enough there to move it forward. And again, letitgohypnosis.com is the website. We got to take another real quick break. right here, Barbara, if you don't mind. And when we come back, we'll dive more into what you're doing over at Let It Go Hypnosis, and we'll also touch on the things that you can help create and help people create. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that and more right after these words on All Business Media.
All Business Media presents the Professionals Roundtable. Hear what's hot in the professional world. Timely topics to propel your career to the next level. Professionals Roundtable with Rick Delgado. Exclusively on All Business Media.
And welcome back to All Business Media, where it is all business all the time. And I'm your host, Rick Delgado. And again, our special guest this hour is Barbara Scheidegger. She is the owner and founder of the clinical hypnotherapy company Let It Go Hypnosis, based out of Beverly Hills, California. You can go to the website letitgohypnosis.com and also reach out to her by phone at 323-999-4775. You can also like her on Facebook. You can just punch that in and pull up the page and hit like, and also you can contact her through there as well. And again, Barbara, thank you so much for taking the time out today to join us. We appreciate it. And I know we were talking about, breaking bad habits, establishing new patterns and stuff. And one of the things I definitely think we should make sure we cover is, okay, so now you've broken a bad habit. You've decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself better and get out of these bad relationships. So what can that invariably lead to? Because that's going to create a whole new life for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it will change your whole life, and you have to believe before it happens that you can. It's really a participating from the client, just to accepting now it's time to change and move forward. And it transforms your life once you see how life can be without stress and without that anxiety and without being just fearful of people around you. It means and it shows that you are in control of your life.
Right.
And that's where we want to bring it to.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the biggest thing is giving you back control of your life, because, it is yours.
Yes, it's your life. You are in control.
Right.
You're in control of your thoughts, so you're in your control of your life. Nobody can make you do something unless you do it, and you make the decision to do it. So that's at that time people stopped the blaming game or pointing finger game. You are responsible, and I need your honesty, complete honesty you have for yourself.
Right.
Accepting for what you did before, looking at it, and releasing. And once you release that and you think back of what you did, I know that it was successful when you start laughing about yourself that you did that.
Right, exactly. And that can be empowering itself, just being able to, recognize, okay, you know what, that was kind of a silly belief that I held. I'm glad I changed it. Let me ask you this, Barbara, because you said your exposure to clinical hypnotherapy was when you hit rock bottom, right? And you just needed to make that change. And then from there, you said you had such a positive experience. You're like, I got to share this with as many people as possible. How was that transition? Because, like you said, you were working in the business world, and now all of a sudden you're going off in this complete different direction.
I know. I've been asked that question many times. Why hypnotherapy? How did you have to just change your life and let everything else behind you?
Right.
And to say, because I decided to have a happier life, a fulfilled life, and I wanted to do what makes me happy. And I think through that way now I am today. I'm a happy person. I'm very well balanced. And through that, my children even recognize that. And they see me happier and makes them happier too.
Right.
And especially friends, I gained new friends that are really my friends today. All others, I thought they were my friends, but I couldn't feed their ego anymore, or they left. So I created a complete new environment. I have new friendships. I see life in a very positive way.
Right.
In any situation, don't think I'm walking around daily and I'm just whistling and singing. I'm happy and happy. There are some obstacles that come into my life.
Well, yeah.
I have learned to stop, to breathe, and see what can I do and how can I get out of it, and what I have learned from it.
Right.
And through that, I open up, my vision. I expanded my vision, and I see much more in my life. And what else I can do and how I can help. It's a process. I did not get here overnight. Again, I had to work on it. I believed in it, and I ran with it.
Right.
No matter what obstacles I faced.
Yeah, or what your quote unquote friends at the time may have been saying.
Yeah, I've heard people, you're crazy. Well, why would you do that? Look, you had such a good life, and why are you changing that? I said, well, it's why I don't need to explain to anybody else why. I know why, and I need to make my change in my life. And yeah, some people thought I'm crazy. Mm-hmm. Maybe I am, I don't know. I moved forward.
Right.
There was nothing that would hold me back. Not my age. Nobody else just telling me, well, it's just difficult. I did not blame anybody for my decision. I just knew nothing will hold me back. And I always have to hear people telling me, well, at your age, you're crazy.
Right.
Well, what is it? Why can't I make it when I'm 50 years old? There's no problem with that. I can move on. I can make a change. I knew my kids are out of school. I knew everything will be fine. I'll be fine, and I just move forward. And that's what I ask people today, too. No matter what your age is, no matter what your excuse is, it is just your excuse. Look at it. Are you in a spot that you want to be? If you are, don't change anything. Do what you're doing. It works for you. But if you are in a spot and you just are unhappy, you start having pains and headaches, and you feel depressed, now make the change. Don't wait till the new year. It's the present moment that counts. Tomorrow it might be too late. Do it now.
Yeah.
And I give you a 30-minute consultation. You are not okay with it, you can leave. But most of the people, they stay, and we make that change.
And again, that 30-minute consultation is as easy as picking up the phone and giving Barbara a call direct. We're talking about Barbara Scheidegger, of course. 323-999-4775. She's the founder and clinical hypnotherapist for Let It Go Hypnosis out of Beverly Hills, California. Or go to the website, letitgohypnosis.com, and see how you can finally make that change. And a lot of times, you know what, Barbara, and I think we've spoken about this before, too, is that it's the scariest thing to change. Everybody says they want to do it, right? And you said don't wait for the new year. That's the biggest day where everybody makes these grand declarations. Oh, this is going to be the year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to lose this much weight. I'm going to stop smoking. 7, 8, 10 days in, all of a sudden, what happened to that diet plan? It turned into a bag of Doritos while your face is buried into it in a couch, and nothing has changed. You're going back to the old bad.
Yeah, because people don't plan, they just start. You have to look where you are. It's, people who decided, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to lose 20 pounds.
Right.
First of all, the 20 pounds you didn't gain in 10 days. Maybe in 20 years, every year you gain the pound. In 20 years, you have 20 pounds more.
Right.
So don't expect that to get away in 10 days. And if they do, trust me, they're coming back. There is the other mistake then. You have to celebrate success. You reach some of your goals. But don't celebrate your success then with a Sunday dessert or eating a half a pound of chocolate. No, go there out and make something that makes you feel good for a long time. Buy your pens, which are now 2 sizes smaller. Now it's a size 6 instead of size 8.
Right.
Celebrate like this. And that's what people do, even at New Year's, they go like crazy to the gym.
Oh, yeah.
Start like crazy. Then everything hurts, and they're not going back.
Right.
It's little steps, incremental steps.
And again, it's one of those things where you make that declaration, but you don't have a plan in place. Like you said, Barbara, there's no, what is my goal? And then once you have that goal, you got to go backwards and be like, now how am I going to get there? And that's where that, where the Scheidegger approach comes in. It says, here's that 21-day plan to hopefully get you to your goal, right?
Absolutely. It's looking at it, and people always say, well, if it doesn't work, then I do. No, there is only plan A. There is no plan B. There's a plan A with some obstacles in the road,
right?
And we learn how to take those obstacles. But we are going in plan A to reach that goal you want to have. So what do you lose? The only day, every day you are not making a change, that's what you lose.
Right.
Your freedom of living your life you want, what you deserve. So get it. What are you waiting for? I just listened to the radio last day about Mexico City, about the earthquake.
Right.
How actually people helped to remove the debris, to get people out of their how do you say, out of their...
Yeah, if they're trapped. Right.
Yeah. And someone told, actually, to the reporter, it was amazing. I was there, and I knew there was a person underneath, under these bricks, under this debris. This thing was so heavy, and I never thought I would be able to lift that. Somehow a power came in, because I wanted to help this person to get out of there and being alive.
Right.
He was able to lift that brick up all by himself. Something that he never thought he would do or can do. It was so heavy. He said, I did it. Something helped me because I wanted it so much that he lifted that and that was able to help this person to get out.
Right.
So it's in your deepest unconscious mind. You concentrate on that. It's a concentration and bring it up to the conscious mind. This is what you want. You get it. So what are you afraid of? That somebody says, stupid? They say that anyway. Someone else will say, ignore. Do what is good for you, and your health will benefit from it too.
Right, because a lot of this too, again, when you're talking about changes and creating new positive patterns and changing bad habits, a lot of it, let's face it, if it's a bad habit, it's affecting you in more ways than one. It's sometimes you don't see it, but things manifest themselves. I think you mentioned it in our first segment in terms of pain, where all of a sudden, you've got this blockage, there's something that's holding you back, and now for some reason you got back pain, but you don't remember lifting anything heavy, right? And then all of a sudden you've got this back pain, and things become very tough on you physically.
So it is really, it goes like, this would be the plan. What do you want? Why do you want that? What do you think is holding you back? What is your story? What are you willing to give up to achieve this goal? That means, maybe stopping eating burgers.
Right.
And how are you going to achieve this goal? And how would you feel? And how will you feel when you achieve this goal? How would your life change once you have achieved this goal? And celebrate every little step in a positive way that brings you even further where you want to go.
Yeah, I think one of the things you're saying there is something we probably, at least in this country, don't do enough of, and that is, kind of enjoy those moments where things go right. Instead of going, okay, I'm glad it came out okay, but I still got more to go. It's like, well, you gotta. It's almost like enjoying the journey. It's like they say about life. Life is a journey, so you gotta enjoy every day of it because every day is another step in that journey.
Yeah, and that's what I say. Concentrate and focus on what went right and not what went wrong.
Right.
If there's a problem, how can we fix it and how can we move on? Searching who did it and what happened is a waste of time. It's here. When you're stuck in your situation, whatever your feeling is right now, you're in a bad relationship, you have chronic pain, you're dealing with anxiety. Let's fix it now and move forward to what you want.
Right.
Why it's happening, what is happening. Hypnotherapy is not even important why things are happening. We just release it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that person who did something to you. It's not even important. It's old. It's the past. Don't hang on it. You have learned something from the past. Let's move forward. And I'm helping you with that in hypnotherapy, which is safe, has no side effects, and brings you only good. That's what it is.
Yeah, and that's what Barbara Scheidegger can do for you. Again, she's the founder and clinical hypnotherapist for Let It Go Hypnosis, and we're talking about not only changing little things, but changing your entire life. I mean, let's get rid of those limitations. And like you mentioned, Barbara, sometimes those things, when you're growing up, somebody said something to you, and it always stuck with you. And now because of that little thing that was maybe said or done to you when you were much younger, it's affected your entire life. Where now it's become a bigger thing, and it's a block that keeps you from reaching your full potential.
Yes, and that's what hypnotherapy is here, to help you to reach your full potential of your life, and you deserve it.
Yeah, and you can find out more about it and find out how to even do it to yourself as well. Contact Barbara Scheidegger direct. She is the founder and clinical hypnotherapist for Let It Go Hypnosis, based out of Beverly Hills, California. LetItGoHypnosis.com is the website, or you can give her a call direct at 323-999-4775. Again, 323-999-4775. If you're looking to make a big or a small change, no matter what kind of change, and you just can't get it done, clinical hypnotherapy could be the way for you to achieve those positive changes that you've always wanted in your life. And Barbara, again, what's the best way for people to get started? Is it the 30-minute free consultation?
Pick up the phone, call me, write me an email, go to my website at letitgohypnosis.com. You can contact me at 323-999-4775. We set up an appointment for a free consultation. You have nothing to lose. There's nothing negative on that, only positive.
Right.
Let's start talking about it. That's already the first step. The best way to make a transformation is starting to talk about it, and I'm a good listener.
And again, when you tried everything else and you're at your wit's end, this could be the step that you're looking for. Clinical hypnotherapy with Barbara Scheidegger and the Scheidegger approach at letitgohypnosis.com, 323-999-4775. And Barbara, thank you once again for spending some time with us today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 60 years. We are locally owned and operated by the Stevens family. We not only clean carpet and furniture, we clean many loose rugs, including Oriental rugs. Oriental rugs are cleaned in our modern facility where the fringes are cleaned by hand, then hung in our modern facility to dry. We do not use steam cleaning to clean your fine furniture. Furniture is cleaned by hand using the same absorption cleaning used in the White House. Some furniture we bring into our plant to clean properly. We normally use 2 men on each cleaning job using the extraction method. There is nothing that will